Golden Age Radio is starting now. Subscribe to get future updates.
Hey everybody, get ready for some great shows. Starting out with Cavalcade, Lux Theater with some great Hollywood stars, Groucho Marx, one of the best comedians in history, and also followed by the hilarious Red Skelton.
The Cavalcade of America, presented by DuPont. This evening, the Cavalcade of America brings you the story of Peter Cooper, industrialist, philanthropist, and educator. Cooper found fame and fortune late in life and used his success to help young people just beginning the struggle of life. His own life was a continued attempt to improve conditions around him. And today, research chemists are following that same ideal. In research laboratories such as those maintained by DuPont, experiments are constantly being carried on to bring more comforts and conveniences into our daily lives. The significance of this work is aptly summed up in the DuPont pledge: better things for better living through chemistry. As an overture, Don Voorhees and the Cavalcade Orchestra bring us a special setting of Jerome Kern's well-known Babes in the Wood from the musical comedy Very Good Eddie. Peter Cooper was born in 1791, the fifth child in the family. In those trying early years of our nation, the boy helped his hard-working father, who was successively a hatter, brewer, storekeeper, and brickmaker. Of actual schooling, Peter Cooper had little. Yet he pressed onward, making his way in life, first as apprentice to a coachmaker, and finally as proprietor of a small grocery store in New York City. In his 36th year, we find Peter Cooper in his grocery store, waiting on a woman customer.
Yeah, there's your order, Mrs. Van Slyke. Is that all?
Yes, Mr. Cooper, that's all. Oh, by the way, what's this I hear about you buying some more property?
Yes, I bought 3 lots last week.
Well, apparently you save your money, Mr. Cooper.
Yes, and now let me see. Your bill adds up $4.83. And there's your statement.
$4.83. Carrots, potatoes. Well, you seem to have your own methods of spelling, Mr. Cooper.
Well, I never learned to spell. Weren't any good schools around where I come from. Anyway, I was too busy to go to them. My ignorance always has troubled me.
Oh, I didn't mean to laugh. I'm sorry.
Well, I think folks need to be educated. When I was young, I used to putter along with inventions, mechanical things. I had talent in my hands, but never trained to use it. Now I've drifted into storekeeping. So I honestly think I'd be better at something else.
Yes, most men seem to think they're in the wrong business nowadays. Well, here's your money.
Thanks. I don't think you understand what I mean about education, Mrs. Van Slyke. For instance, you asked me about those lots I bought.
Yes?
I feel my lack of education so much that someday I'm going to build a school on those lots.
A school? For yourself, Mr. Cooper?
For young people without opportunity, or older men like myself who still need to learn, or...
Oh, my goodness. Well, I ought not to laugh, but... Well, I'm ashamed of you, Mr. Cooper. I always thought you to be a sensible man. And now I find you with daydreams like a 10-year-old.
I don't think any man's too old to plan for the future.
Well, I do. Why, you're at least... Well, I won't guess at your age. But I know you're a married man and the father of a family. Now, don't talk nonsense about schools, Mr. Cooper. You be sharper about your business. You don't even close your store at regular hours. Good evening.
Good evening. What? Oh, it's you, John Freeland.
Quite a talking to you got, Peter, huh?
Where were you all the time, John?
Sitting down behind that cracker barrel till the storm blew over.
Listen, John, did you hear her laugh at my school?
Well, Peter, most of the neighbors think you are just talking when you start planning that school of yours.
Well, why shouldn't I plan something big, John? Lectures for young mechanics and engineers and a big free reading room.
Take a lot of money to start a free school, Peter.
I know it. That's why I got to find a larger business.
Why? You're doing well right here, aren't you?
What were you telling me yesterday about a glue factory up for sale?
Peter, you're not serious about that, are you? Well, they want $2,000.
I've got that much.
And the real reason they're selling it is because nobody in this country knows how to make glue.
Whenever I hear anyone say no one in this country knows how, I want to find out. They make glue in England and in Germany.
Sure they do. They have chemists, men who have been working for years.
Well, if they can find out, so can I. Blow out the lamp on the counter, will you, John, while I lock up?
Well, surely, Peter.
Thanks.
That widow Van Slyke seems to have gotten you all riled up, Peter.
It was what she said about my being too old to plan a future and work for it.
Well, you're 36.
Well, what's that? She thinks I'm at the end of my life, does she? I'm just beginning.
In 1827, the story of American invention had scarcely begun. As a young country with few trained scientists, the United States still had to look abroad for many of her manufactured products. But men like Peter Cooper were to change her from a backwoods nation to a first-rate power. In a small factory standing near the location of New York's present Metropolitan Tower, Peter Cooper started looking for a good glue, which was to be the basis of many other important manufactures. As he had no scientific training, it took many months before he mastered the technique of research. In the fall of 1829, 2 years later, Peter Cooper welcomes his wife to his laboratory.
I suppose a glue factory has to smell like this, Peter.
I'm afraid it does, Sarah. I don't like to ask a good housekeeper like you into this laboratory of mine, but I finished my last experiment now, and I wanted you to know about it.
Did you solve what was bothering you, Peter?
Yes, I've got the whole solution. I guess I must have solved some mighty difficult problems in chemistry during the last few years without knowing myself what I was doing. Well, anyway, I've got the right ingredients now and a way to put them together. I can make the best glue in the world.
Why, Peter Cooper, you sound almost boastful.
Well, I can't help it. It's true. It's better than English glue and German, too. And I wanted you to see everything, Sarah, because, well, you've had a hard struggle, too. But there's plenty of comfort for you and the children in these little jars.
American glue that sticks. Well, you won't have to mind anymore when folks laugh at you, Peter.
Oh, I never minded. I realized the neighbors thought a grocery man had no business making glue. And I never cared when other businessmen laughed because I had to be my own janitor and chemist and salesman and bill collector all in one. I'm used to being a plain man, Sarah, and I had to keep to my natural ways.
Don't you ever change, Peter.
Sarah, there's something else I want to show you here in the laboratory.
Peter, you have a new plan. I was sure from the beginning that you didn't ask me here just to look at that glue.
Well, no. I wanted you to see this model over here.
What is it?
The beginning of a steam locomotive.
A steam locomotive?
Mm-hmm. I've thought out a way to put power to the wheels without using a crank like the English do.
Well, what good is that?
Well, American railroads have to have locomotives. You see, English engines are built for level ground and can't turn sharp curves our landscape calls for. Look at the Baltimore and Ohio.
Oh.
Tracks partly laid, but nothing satisfactory to run on them yet.
I knew there was something in your mind when you were talking about the Baltimore and Ohio at supper the other night. So now you want to quit the glue business and begin with railroads, do you?
Well, I wouldn't quit the business, Sarah. Other men can help me run it while I experiment. I have a gift for tinkering, I think. I tinkered with glue till I got it.
Well, the glue and locomotives are different.
Sarah, I know I can build one.
Well, you're so sure, I suppose you can.
Sarah, the only difficulty is that if I branch out into another business, like perhaps iron for the new railroads, I'd risk what we've got now.
Peter, you know I was always willing to get up early every morning so I'd have time to bake bread for the grocery store. My goodness, if you can take a chance making a locomotive, I can take a chance on going back to my oven.
I'll do all I can to keep you from that, Sarah. I'm going to take my locomotive down to Baltimore the first chance I get. And if I'm lucky, I'm going to have something to do with this country's future.
Glue and then iron. Peter Cooper purchased an ironworks near Baltimore and became interested in railroad development. His technical knowledge of engines came to him through natural talent and hard work. On a day in October 1829, we find Peter Cooper waiting anxiously beside the newly laid rails of the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad near Mount Clair, Maryland. The directors of the railroad have assembled to test a tiny locomotive that Peter Cooper and his assistant are making ready.
Am I getting enough steam up, Mr. Cooper? There's an awful load to carry.
Only 36 in the carriage and 6 in the engine with me.
Heavens to Betsy, I better blow the fire somewhere, huh? Yeah, I wish I could ride on the engine to help you, Mr. Cooper.
Thanks, Sam, but I'm afraid I'm the only person who would know what to do if anything went wrong.
Yes, oh, here's some more nosy folks coming to look at your invention.
The engine's here for that very reason, Sam. So the railroad directors can look at it.
Well, I don't like the look some of them make towards you, sir.
Oh,
And here's what'll try to pull us to Ellicott Mills, gentlemen. Mr. Cooper, what do you call this monstrous engine of yours?
Why, I call it Tom Thumb.
Very appropriate.
You must realize, gentlemen, that this is only a small model of what an American-built engine should be like.
Tell me, what are those vertical tubes to the boiler, Mr. Cooper? They look familiar.
Those are musket barrels, Mr. Croft.
Musket barrel. Very ingenious. And may I ask if that is a wash boiler set endwise?
Well, it's the same idea as a wash boiler.
See, Croft, the whole thing is thrown together out of odds and ends. Child's toy.
Yes, obviously.
Well, the Baltimore and Ohio may be in dire straits from engine problems, but It doesn't seem to me like any solution. I doubt if it moves an inch.
But, gentlemen, the size doesn't matter.
Well, we shall see, Mr. Cooper. Ross, if the man had experience with engines before?
Why, no. See, he's a glue maker from New York.
I told you, Mr. Cooper. They aren't all friendly.
Well, that's what we have to expect, Sam.
Get aboard, please, gentlemen. Take your places.
Good luck, Mr. Cooper.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you.
And this is the engine that's expected to take contracts away from our English models, Jerry. Let's have a look before we get aboard.
Small enough, isn't it?
Are you Mr. Cooper?
Yes, sir.
Well, let me compliment you, sir. The president of the road has spoken very hopefully of your work. As an engineer visiting your country, I'm greatly interested in any new features you've developed.
Well, thank you, sir. Naturally, I'm a bit nervous, and I appreciate any kind words.
Take your places, gentlemen. Please, the journey must start. If it is a journey.
Let's get aboard quickly, Jerry. There's some space right in front by the engine. Good luck, Mr. Cooper.
Well, thank you, sir.
Don't push.
Come, Jerry.
Don't push. I wish we might ride on the engine.
Well, we'll get a better view here.
We're all aboard, Mr. Cooper. Very well, sir. Here we go.
By Jove, we're moving. Why, we're gaining speed.
Yes, we're going up this grade as fast as horses could take us.
Faster, I think. No jolting either. That's the advantage of a railroad, Jerry. Why, what are you doing with pencil and paper? Taking notes on Mr. Cooper's engine?
No, I'm proving to myself that you can ride going as fast as we are.
Ah, well, the test of writing is in the reading, gentlemen. May I see if I can read what you've written?
Certainly, sir.
Thank you. If we reach Ellicott Mills, Peter Cooper may be a famous man. Huh. You should change that may to will be, sir.
Peter Cooper, in his middle 40s, became a man of tremendous importance. He continued inventing, and his achievements seemed endless. Improvements in steam boilers, in grinding marble and metal substances, in salt making, in methods for hauling boats on the Erie Canal, in dozens of other mechanical processes that were building the new America. He was a leading spirit in the first attempts to lay an Atlantic cable, and he became a potent factor in American industry. But in the back of his mind was always the ambition to found a great school, which would give to American youth the scientific and technical training he had been unable to get. He began erecting a building in New York City, which was to be called the Union of Science and Art. But a great obstacle lay ahead. In 1857, in the office of the Cooper Industries, Peter Cooper, now in his 60s, talks to his younger associates.
Yeah, what's going on outside, Slade? Can you see from the window?
Well, there's a line 3 blocks long in front of the Union Bank.
Well, if this goes on, the banks will suspend specie payments.
This is the most frightful panic the country has ever known, Mr. Cooper. The United States is done for.
Oh, I don't know about that, Mr. Spence. Country is like a man. Can stagger through a lot of trouble and somehow keep on its feet.
I hope your courage is justified, Mr. Cooper. Mr. Cooper. Very bad news from the ironworks. I was afraid of it.
Well, out with it, Randall. We can stand anything. Blackwell and Company gone under, or the Gridley Weston firm?
Well, Gridley and Weston can pay us a little. But Blackwell and Company have failed.
I knew it.
What can we do about it, Mr. Cooper? Well, some of the firms are shutting down when they're still solvent.
I don't think scuttling the ship is the way to weather a storm.
Well, there wouldn't be many to blame you, sir, in this crisis.
The man whose blame I wouldn't want to face is myself, Peter Cooper. This is no time for a businessman to behave like a coward or a scoundrel.
You're at an age, sir, when it would be natural to retire.
Listen to me, all of you. I'll retire when I die. All my life, men have been saying to me I was at an age when... There is no age when a sensible man stops acting with gumption.
But if everyone has lost confidence...
We must help restore it. Take this message to our superintendents, Randall. This plant and the ironworks remain at the service of the country, open.
Yes, sir.
And if there's no business for me to do these days, I'll spend all my time planning my Institute of Arts and Sciences.
Oh, not going on with that, Mr. Cooper.
Well, the building's nearly finished, thank heaven. My Institute for Science may be the last building ever erected in New York. but it's going to go up as I planned.
The union of science and art was completed in the midst of panic by a brave man who did not doubt his country's eventual progress. Cooper Union, as it has always been called, was one of the first scientific and technical schools of first-rate ranking in the country. From its rostrum spoke a host of distinguished lecturers. It showed American industry, already aware that the old apprentice system was too slow for modern life, the way to train men for skilled posts. A few years after the opening, old Peter Cooper, wandering through the halls, speaks to a young teacher.
I beg your pardon. Aren't you Mr. Crossley, the new engineering instructor?
Yes, sir. Can I direct you somewhere?
No, thank you. I'm Peter Cooper.
Oh, Mr. Cooper, I beg your pardon. I've seen pictures of you, but I didn't know. I didn't expect you.
You didn't expect to see an old man like me buttering about the halls, striking up conversations with strangers, huh? I like to meet my instructors.
Well, I'm honored to meet you, sir. I was very happy when I received word that I was to teach at Cooper Union. It's a remarkable school, sir. Someday people will realize how much you've done here and how many new ideas and education you've started.
Thanks. But what worries me is that I'm of so little use to the school now that it's started. That's a strange feeling, Mr. Crossley, to have an idea all your life, but to be so ignorant of book learning yourself that you have to turn it over entirely to other men.
Oh, but surely all the big decisions have been yours.
Oh, the big decisions, yes. But I come down here several days a week and roam about, hoping I'll come upon things, human details, that I could settle. Now, you're new, Mr. Crossley. If you think of any improvements, you come straight to me.
I will, sir. Are you going into the director's office? Well, let me open the door for you.
Yes, thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Cooper.
Good morning.
So, mademoiselle, you should listen to me and then tell the director about my son here, if you will, please.
It's no use, Father. Don't plague the lady.
Your son is right, sir. He's too young to enter Cooper Institute, and I won't bother the director.
Miss Costello?
Oh, good morning, sir. Did you want to see Mr. Hewitt?
Would you mind telling him I'm here? I can wait if he's busy.
Just a moment, sir. I'll tell him.
Monsieur,
Father, don't bother this gentleman, too. Let us go now. We knew I was too young to study here.
What's the trouble, my boy? You are younger than most students who try to enter our classes.
What do the years matter, monsieur le professeur? Is it not the brain of this boy that counts? His eyes that see so deeply, his fingers that are so clever with a pencil.
Oh, so. You want to enter a drawing class, young man?
Yes, monsieur.
Monsieur le professeur, I am a poor cobbler. I come to America from France to enjoy your great free country. Perhaps you teach drawing. Perhaps you will help my Auguste.
Oh, I'm not a professor, sir. I'm too unlearned a man for that.
Oh, not a professor. Pardon, monsieur. Come, my son. We have wasted our time. Gather your drawings. Bien. Pas de chance.
Just a moment, sir.
I'm sorry, sir. My father, he has counted so long on this. He meant no insult.
Oh, I know how he feels. I've had children, too, and worried about the future. Are those your drawings in that great bundle under your arm?
Yes, monsieur.
Oh, would you show them to me?
But, monsieur, if you are not a
I will gladly show them to you, monsieur. I have carried them all this way and no one looks.
Well, put them here on this table.
Yes, monsieur. This one is an old bakery woman. Sometimes she gives me cakes.
Yes. You've got the look of a gentle, warm-hearted woman.
Auguste, viens.
And here's father bending over a boot to mend it. You can only see the top of his head, but it is the hands mostly.
Yes, I see that. I have always liked to make beautiful things, too, son. When I was your age, they apprenticed me to a carriage maker. And I love to carve wood.
I love best to model, sir, to work with my hands in clay. But one must learn to draw first. If I only had someone to teach me.
Well, son,
I'm sorry to delay you, Mr. Cooper. Mr. Hewitt says to go right in.
Oh, that's all right, Miss Costello.
Monsieur Cooper?
Are you Monsieur Peter Cooper?
Yes, son. And I want to know your name.
Saint-Gaudin, monsieur. Auguste Saint-Gaudin. We should not have troubled you with these drawings.
Miss Costello, tell Mr. Hewitt I'm sending a substitute for my appointment. This little boy.
But what for, Mr. Cooper?
Hewitt will understand when he looks at these drawings. Good luck to you, Auguste. Mr. Hewitt will take care of your enrollment in the school.
Merci mille fois, monsieur. Merci.
Merci, Cooper. I thank you. I hope I may do something for you someday.
Let us see you do something for the school, son. I'm expecting great things of you, Auguste. Don't disappoint me.
Auguste Saint-Gaudin became the distinguished American sculptor Augustus St. Gaudens. His statue of Peter Cooper, the grocery dealer and untrained scientist who was to provide training for thousands of others, stands today before the modern Cooper Union in New York City. As educator, inventor, industrialist, and above all, as an example of the spirit that helps make our country great, Peter Cooper, man who refused to let age defeat his plans, holds a place of great honor in the Cavalcade of America. Today, industry has responsibilities beyond immediate sales. Not only are industrial firms expected to turn out useful goods at fair prices, they must constantly improve those products, develop new ones, and enable more people to share their benefits by constantly lowering costs. The DuPont Company, representative of the chemical industry, has just issued its annual report covering its activities for 1936 and reviewing the progress made by the company during its 135th year of existence. Many people think of 1929 as the peak of good times for everybody. But what do we find when we compare DuPont's activities during that so-called boom year with its record for 1936? Here are a few comparisons. Prices. Average price of DuPont products now 30% below 1929. $31 million spent last year to extend manufacturing facilities, improve operating efficiency. Employment. 1929, average number DuPont employees, 42,000. December 1936, 53,000, an increase of 11,000 people. Wages and working conditions. Since 1929, 5-day week inaugurated in all DuPont plants and offices. 2-week vacation with pay extended to all employees, including factory workers. Despite shorter hours and 14% lower cost of living, average weekly earnings now above boom year. Total payroll 1929, $72 million. December 1936 rate, $94 million yearly. Perhaps you or members of your family would be interested in reading more about this record for 1936. Additional information on these phases of the DuPont Company's activities will appear in an article scheduled for publication in the March issue of the DuPont magazine, which is issued to business firms each month. We've had this article printed in folder form. You may have one of these advance copies by writing DuPont, Wilmington, Delaware. Please ask for the article entitled Better Things for Better Living, and kindly write your name and address legibly. Remember, mail your letter or card to DuPont, Wilmington, Delaware, and simply say, "Send me the article Better Things for Better Living." An ounce of prevention, the story of inoculation as first practiced in America as a smallpox preventive, will be the subject of the broadcast when next week at this same time, DuPont again presents the Cavalcade of America. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
You are listening to Golden Rumble/C/G3PL.com.
From Hollywood, California, the Lux Radio Theater presents Edward Arnold, Fay Wray, and H.B. Warner in The Boss.
Lux presents Hollywood. Our thanks to those of you who are expressing your approval of our program by regular purchases of our product, Lux Toilet Soap. You'll find you like our product as much as you like our theater, and we appreciate your loyalty, for it is your loyalty to Lux that makes this program possible. In our theater tonight are Edward Arnold, Fay Wray, and H.B. Warner, whom you'll hear in a moment in The Boss. As special guest, we bring you Dorothy Dix, nationally known advisor on love and marriage, and one of the most famous columnists in the history of journalism. Louis Silvers directs our music. The Lux Radio Theater is personally produced by Hollywood's master showman, your host, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Cecil B. DeMille.
Greetings from Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen. Edward Arnold has long been familiar with the role of Mike Regan in Edward Sheldon's melodrama, The Boss, which we present tonight. As a stock company actor, Mr. Arnold played the role in St. Paul and Utica, where it served, somewhat ingloriously, to take him from the stage to the screen. He arrived in Utica, worn out from 2 exhausting years of work and worry. He was further distressed by an offer to make silent pictures, which he didn't know whether or not to accept. It all had a devastating effect on his performances in The Boss. Try as he would, Mr. Arnold couldn't get through an act without forgetting his lines. The rest of the cast was frantic. They begged him, they flattered him, they threatened him. Eddie, in turn, promised and tried desperately and failed. At last he confessed it was the movie offer that was upsetting him, and earnestly asked his furious director what he thought of his chances on the screen. "I don't know," the director exploded. "But if you do accept, you'll be doing a tremendous favor to every actor and director in stock." This appeal to his public spirit so touched Mr. Arnold that he left the stage, became a film star, and fooled his old associates by turning into one of the most dependable actors on the screen. Our other stars are Fay Wray and H.B. Warner. Miss Wray advanced to stardom from Hollywood High School. While still a student, she played extra parts, and in turn became a Western heroine, a feature player, a comedienne, and finally a star. In our play, she's Emily Griswold. My association with H.B. Warner dates back to the time he became the original star of Alias Jimmy Valentine. When we both came to Hollywood, one of the first roles he played for me was in The Ghostbreaker, in which he was locked in a prison cell with 12 large rats. The property man was unable to get any black rats, so we secured some tame white ones and covered them with lampblack. But while we were shooting the scene, the fastidious rodents, instead of attacking Mr. Warner, calmly sat up on their haunches and proceeded to lick off the lampblack with apparent delight. Since then, he's become celebrated for his spiritual characterizations, starring for me in The King of Kings, and recently for Columbia Studios in Lost Horizon. For us tonight, he plays the Archbishop. And now the Lux Radio Theater presents Edward Arnold in The Boss with Fay Wray and H.B. Warner. The tenement district of a Middle Western city. On a side street which comes to a dead end at the riverfront, a limousine is pulled up to the curb. In the back seat is Mike Regan, the political and financial boss of the town. And beside him, his boyhood friend, now his Grace the Archbishop. The priest leans forward, talking earnestly.
And there you have it, Michael. It's not a pretty picture, is it? Now the whole district and every shanty in it is rotten to the core. I don't know how they live in them. And you see, they can't help themselves, Michael. They can't lift themselves by their bootstraps. It's up to us. Michael, When you see what conditions are like...
Wait a minute, Your Grace. I don't like to interrupt, but you don't have to tell me about this district.
I know, Michael. You were born here. Well, so was I. But it's a long time since you've been back.
Now, what do you want me to do? Is it money? If it is, just say the word.
Well, money would help, of course, but I was thinking of something else.
Yeah?
You're a big man in this town, Michael. Half the men in this district have jobs at your mill. I was hoping you'd, well, take more of a personal interest.
Oh, now, Your Grace, I can't do that. That takes a lot of time.
Is your time more important than the lives of 8,000 people, Michael?
Well, it's my time that gives them jobs. Where'd my company be, Your Grace, if I was puttering around down here every day? I can't do it. But I'll tell you what I can do. You want me to help these people, and I will. You just tell me how much it'll take. Hey, there's a girl trying
Emily Griswold.
Oh, open the door, Dugan.
Yes, Good morning, Your Grace.
Good morning, Emily.
Oh, don't get out, please.
It's all right. How are you, my dear?
Well, I saw you sitting in the car, and I just wanted to ask you to drop in on Mrs. Holloway, if you could.
Is she bad again?
About the same. There's no hurry.
I'll run in and see her. Oh, this is Michael Regan, Miss Griswold.
How are you?
Miss Griswold has been helping us out in Shantytown.
Oh, is that so?
One of our very best social workers.
Well, I do what I can. It's not very much.
I've just been talking to Michael about taking a personal interest in things down here.
Oh, that's splendid. I'm so glad you're going to, Mr. Regan.
Huh? Well, I didn't exactly say
There's so much that can be done. If only people would understand that money alone doesn't help very much.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yes, that's just what we were saying. But, Emily, perhaps you and Mr. Regan ought to talk things over.
Why, of course, anytime. I've a lot of ideas, Mr. Regan.
Oh, well, that's fine. What about tonight?
Oh, I couldn't tonight.
Tomorrow?
Well, I'm pretty busy all day. But I usually go for a ride in the park before breakfast.
You mean a horseback ride?
Why, yes.
Well, it's a little out of my line, but I've always wanted to try it.
Well, good. I'll see you then.
Yeah, sure.
Goodbye, Your Grace.
Goodbye, Emily. Well, Michael?
She's a nice girl, isn't she? Huh? Real high society, huh?
You meet all kinds in social work.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you've changed your mind, Michael.
Yeah, You wouldn't fool me, would you, Your Grace?
Oh, you won't regret it, Michael.
No, I don't think I will.
No.
Morning, boss.
Hello, Ed.
Morning, Mr. Regan.
Nice day, boss.
Not bad.
Good morning, Mr. Regan.
Hello, Davis.
Out riding this morning, sir?
Yeah, I'm getting so I can almost stay on a horse now. Hello, Porky.
Hi, boss.
Waiting to see me?
Yeah.
All right, Davis, outside.
Yes, sir. The mail's on your desk, sir.
Thank you. Well, Porky.
Well, he's come, just like he said he would.
Oh.
That young Griswold guy.
All right. Did he say what he wanted?
No. But I only need one guess. It's probably about them contracts you've been taking from under his old man's nose.
Well, what about him?
I was just wondering what you was going to do.
Well, I'm going to keep him, of course. I got him fair and square, didn't I?
Sure. Only I was thinking you are out riding with his sister every morning.
Porky, you're a softy. Business and sentiment don't mix. You know that. Send him in here.
Okay. Mr. Regan here now.
Thanks.
Well, come in.
My name's Donald Griswold.
Yeah, I know. Sit down.
You probably also know why I'm here.
I guess so.
Regan, you've been underbidding us on every contract we have. I want to know what's behind it.
Oh, there ain't nothing behind it. Except I can sell cheaper, that's all.
The Western Amalgamated went over to you this morning.
Oh, did it? Well, that's the way it goes, young fellow. They say that competition is the life...
This isn't competition, Regan. It's robbery.
Yeah?
We've had those contracts for years. And just because you pay your labor starvation wages, you think you can sneak in
That's
and...
enough of that, young fellow. I didn't ask you to come here. If you want to talk business, send your old man around. I don't deal with kids.
When can you see us?
Will you be home tonight?
Home? I don't see what that has to do with
I'll
it.
be passing that way around 8 o'clock, that's all. I've been wanting to talk to your old man anyhow. Well?
I suppose we'll have to be there.
Good. Can you have a cigar?
Thanks, but we can still afford our own.
Oh.
Kid's got gumption, Mike.
Yeah, I guess it runs in the family.
So he's coming here. He insisted on it. I know what's in his mind, Dad. He thinks because he's got us in a hole, he can use us for a stepping stone. Well, he won't.
Donald, my boy, there's no use in getting excited. Regardless of what this man Regan
He's
is...
a dirty, blackjacking swindler.
Regardless of that, he has us right where he wants us, Donald. Those notes, they're due on the 1st. If we fail, I can't meet them. Those banks will go under like that. We can't take that chance, son.
Yes, I know. If we only had time. If I could only get him to keep his thieving hands off the Western contracts for 1 month. That's all I'd need. Just a month.
What could you do?
I'd get his men out on a strike.
Oh, you couldn't do that.
Couldn't I? They're like a powder magazine just waiting for a match.
How many of them are there?
Over 3,000. And sick to death of being rounded up like steers with a gang of toughs for cowboys. You know why those people in Shantytown can't buy food for their kids? Because Regan pays the men starvation wages and then takes it away from them in rent. He owns the whole district and charges them sky-high prices for living quarters that aren't fit for animals.
Are you sure of that? That he really owns that property?
Yes, of course I am. Oh, he's kept it quiet, all right. He's afraid it might interfere with his social climbing. I tell you, Dad, that
wait.
fella...
Come in. Yes, Mitchell?
I beg your pardon, sir. There's a Mr. Regan to see you.
Oh. Show him in, please.
Yes, sir. You'll find Mr. Griswold in the library, sir.
Okay, here's $1 for you.
Oh, no, sir.
Oh, go on, take it.
I'm sorry, sir, but I can't.
Okay, buddy, it's your loss.
Got a snipe.
Quiet, Donald.
Hello, gents.
How do you do, Mr. Regan?
Good evening.
Sorry I'm late. Pretty busy these days. Well, this is certainly a nifty layout you got here, Griswold. Real class.
Sit down, Mr. Regan. I don't want to take up too much of your valuable time.
Okay, let's get at it.
I'll go straight to the point, Regan. I've been handling most of the grain that lands in this city for nearly 25 years. But I'm afraid I'm too conservative to fight the conditions you've created. You've beaten me, Regan.
Well, what about it?
Just a moment, please. I want to make the situation perfectly clear. For a good many years, I've also been rather prominent in the direction of 3 important banks.
Yeah, the People's Trust, the Union Guarantee, and the Farmers' Loan.
Yes.
Yeah, and they've put up the money you've been fighting me with. You'll file your bankruptcy petition within a week. There'll be a run on those banks, and they'll go to blazes so quick, they'll never know what struck them. I know.
If you take over my business now, you'll shake the credit of the whole state.
I don't give a hoot for the credit of the state. I can hang on through any run.
Mr. Regan.
But you can. Say, do you know where a run would land you? Right in the county jug, with a steady job as a laundryman washing undershirts.
Regan, give me 6 months before you take over the Western. I have some loans coming in.
I'm sorry, mister.
4 then. At the end, you'll get the business just the same.
Sure. But I think I ought to make a moral example of you, Mr. Griswold.
What?
Yeah. What do you think the folks in the Fourth Ward are going to say when they hear that all their savings have gone blah? Sure, there are a lot of hooligans and that wouldn't know a cream to mint from a grand piano. But what are you going to tell them, Mr. Griswold, when they up and smash your beak off on the way to jail?
I assumed you came here to talk business, Mr. Regan. I can see it's hopeless now.
Forget it. The trouble with you patent leather guys is you can't see a joke when it jumps up and hits you in the teeth. I'm trying to make it tough for you. I was only kidding. Hey, what do you say to a compromise?
Compromise?
That's the idea. A bunch up of the 2 firms.
You mean an amalgamation?
That's right, but my mouth's too full of teeth to say it. Well, what do you say?
An amalgamation?
No, you can't do it, Dad.
I've got to think of those depositors.
I know that, but he's got something else up his sleeve. He must have. Why don't you lay it on the table, Regan?
You're a sharp young fella, ain't you? Well, you called my bluff, and I don't mind showing my hand. Mr. Griswold, I didn't care nothing about squaring things up this way when I started in to grab your business. I've been thinking. And right now, I'd like to make up good and close to you because...
Because what?
Well, because I want to ask your daughter if by any chance she'd mind being Mrs. Regan.
What?
Marry me, that's what.
Get out, Regan. Get out and stay out.
What do you mean?
You heard him. Get out.
Oh, so I'm canned, huh? I get the bum's rush, huh? Well, let me tell you something, you stuffed shirts. I got you where I want you, and by heaven, I won't let go till you're squealing like a couple of stuck pigs.
We know what you can do, and we're telling you to get out.
Father, Donald, what's the matter?
Oh, good evening, Miss Emily.
Go upstairs, Emily.
No, I won't. There's something wrong.
Will you please get out of here?
What for? Miss Griswold's a pretty important person in this business. Let's see what she's got to say.
About what, Mr. Regan?
Emily, my
I guess
dear.
I better do the talking, mister. Listen, Miss Emily.
Well?
I ain't seen you more than 4 or 5 times, but I'm no slouch when it comes to making up my mind. So here goes. I'm 38 years old, never had a sick day in my life. I don't gamble or play the races, and I never got mixed up with women because I've been on the jump all the time, I suppose, and they tell me that women takes up a lot of time. But now I'm getting along, and I've made my pile, and I feel like settling down and having someone pour my coffee in the morning and put my carpet slippers on the radiator at night.
You mean...
I guess you're wise. I want you to marry me.
To get a social position for his dirty politics.
Young fellow, I can put this through without your button in. I know you can help me, Miss Emily, and I ain't ashamed to say it. But that ain't the reason I want you.
Isn't it?
No. I'm crazy about you, that's why.
Yes, he's offered to buy you, Emily. He's offered Dad a partnership.
I've offered him more than a partnership, young fella. I've offered him a chance to hang on to his good name.
What do you mean?
It's nothing, Emily.
No,
nothing.
listen, Mr. Griswold. Your father's borrowed money from 3 banks. He just happens to be a director in them, that's all. When he goes bankrupt, they'll stop payment, and Mr. Griswold, the ex-game king, will hide his head in shame.
Dad!
What's more, those laborers of mine that you're so stuck on in Shantytown, they'll lose every bit of dough they ever managed to scrape together.
Dad, is this true?
Yes, Emily.
But they have so little. It means everything to them. I don't suppose there's anything else you'll take, Mr. Regan. You wouldn't offer that partnership on any other basis.
No, ma'am, I wouldn't. But I'll tell you what I will do. You take me up on my proposition, and I'll do better than a partnership. I'll give your father back half the contracts I took from him.
On the day of our wedding, I suppose.
Emily, don't be a fool.
I'm not a fool, Donald. Good night, Mr. Regan.
You mean you won't?
I said good night, Mr. Regan.
Okay. Good night. Who is it? Hold your horses, will you? This is a fine hour to be coming in. Ooh.
May I come in, please? I know it's rather late, but do you mind?
No, of course not. Come in. Sit down, won't you?
Thank you. I've come to tell you that if you still want me, I'm willing to take your proposition.
You mean it?
Yes.
You mean your father...
My father doesn't know anything about it.
I see.
Before we go any further, I'd like you to understand one thing. I don't care for you. I never will care for you.
No?
Well, that didn't seem to worry you before.
Oh, no, go on.
If I marry you, it's with the understanding that everything stops at the church door.
Yeah, but you...
Those are my conditions. I'll help you with my position. I'll do my best for you that way. But that's all. It's just an everyday bargain. If you want me, on that basis, you can have me. Well?
Huh. That's a pretty sharp offer you're making me. But I'll take it just the same.
On those terms?
I always take what I can get, and then I always get a little more.
You won't. This time.
No? All right. I'll take my chances on that.
And so ends Act One of The Boss, starring Edward Arnold, Fay Ray, and H.B. Warner. In a few moments, our stars will return in Act Two. Let's take advantage of this short intermission to play a little game. We're going to give you some bits of neighborly gossip about the screen stars, but we won't give you their names. See if you can guess to whom each item applies. You'll want pencil and paper for this. There will be 5 questions. Ready? A young lady who knows all the answers will read the questions, and at the end of each, give you the right answer and tell you how much credit to give yourself if you're right. Are you ready? Question 1.
We don't usually associate screen stars with homely domestic chores, but there is one Hollywood beauty who is frequently seen doing her own marketing. Do you know who she is? The answer is, and if you're right, give yourself 15, Miriam Hopkins.
Question 2.
Screen stars, poor dears, are usually too busy on location to go off on a honeymoon. One of them, however, recently determined nothing was going to interfere with her long-dreamed-of jaunt through Europe with her new husband. and off she went. Can you name her? The answer is Claudette Colbert. 15 for that one, too, if you have it right. Claudette Colbert.
Question 3.
To be included among the first 10 box office draws is the goal at which all screen stars aim. Recently, a young unknown came to Hollywood and took the country by storm with her first picture. She is the first woman star since sound pictures came in to reach that enviable first 10 spot in the short space of 1 year. Do you know her? The answer is Sonia Henney. Take 15 credits if you got that one. Sonia Henney.
Question 4.
One of our most charming Hollywood lovelies has 2 sisters in pictures. Equally lovely, but not as well known. Who are these 3 little maids? They look alike, too. Did you get it right? Loretta Young, Sally Blaine, and Polly Ann Young. You can have 15 for that one. Loretta Young and her 2 sisters.
Question 5.
The camera shows up the tiniest complexion flaw. Screen stars must keep skin smooth and clear at all times. What famous screen stars use Lux toilet soap to guard their priceless complexions?
I know the answer to that one. There are too many to mention. For actually, 9 out of 10 screen stars use Lux toilet soap. These famous beauties wouldn't dream of letting their pores become choked with dust, dirt, and stale cosmetics. They know that pores choked in this way cause cosmetic skin, dullness, tiny blemishes, and enlarged pores. Lux toilet soap's active lather removes thoroughly dust and dirt, stale rouge and powder, leaves skin soft and smooth.
That is certainly the right answer, Mr. Ruick. You can take 40% for it, and so can all the women in the audience who got it right.
That brings us up to 100%, and that's as it should be. For Lux toilet soap is mighty important to women everywhere. It helps them score 100%, helps to put them over the top. And now, Mr. DeMille and our play.
We continue with The Boss, starring Edward Arnold, Fay Ray, and H.B. Warner. Several months have passed. Donald Griswold, roused to fury by Emily's marriage, has been fighting Regan openly. Agitating among the mill workers, he's brought them to fever heat, and the word strike goes whispering through the plant. Porky McCoy has just brought this news to the boss.
They're having a meeting tonight, boss, over in St. Mary's Hall. Young Griswold is going to speak, and he's bringing a whole crowd of the big shots with him. J.C. Tyler, Roland Adams, and the Archbishop himself.
The Archbishop?
Yeah. And if he speaks against us, we're through. The men will walk out like sheep.
Through, eh? All right. Let him quit. If the Western will stand by me for another week, I'll beat him to a standstill.
How?
I got a bunch of men on their way right now. 3,000 of them. They'll work for half pay.
Say, that's great, boss. That's swell.
Now, you get over to that meeting tonight and let me know how things are going, see? I'll be home if you want me. Call me anytime.
Okay, boss.
Lick me, huh? Yes, they will. Emily.
Yes?
I ain't interrupting, am I?
Oh, no, it's all right.
Hey, you're looking swell tonight. You know, I kept watching you at the dinner table and saying to myself, she's got all the other dames in this town lashed to the mast.
Thank you.
You know what day this is, Emily?
Day?
Yeah, it's October the 29th.
Well?
Well, think back 6 months and, well...
Oh, yes. Yes, I'd forgotten.
Yeah, well, I ain't. So I took the liberty of buying you a little something. Look, Emily, it's a pin. What's the matter? Don't you want it?
Thank you, Michael.
You ain't even looked at it. It's a diamond frog with emeralds in it. Look. Here, let me put it on.
Oh, no. If you don't mind, I'd rather not.
I see. That's the second thing I bought you that you won't wear. You're certainly not breaking down any, are you?
You said you'd take your chances.
Oh, I'm not beefing, but I thought... Okay, Emily. I won't bother you anymore.
I'm sorry, Michael. But that's the way it has to be.
Mr. Regan, sir.
Well?
There's a call for you, sir. Will you take it in here?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Hello? Yeah, Porky. What? Oh, yeah. Sure. I'll see him. Yeah, I'll see him in the office in 10 minutes. I got to go to the office. I guess you don't mind much.
What's the matter?
Oh, they're sending a striker over to give me their terms. Their terms.
You're not going down there alone.
Yeah,
You can't do that. You mustn't.
Why?
Well, I don't want any trouble, Michael.
Oh. You know, for a second there, I thought you was thinking about me. I'll call you later.
Those are the terms, Regan. They're waiting for me over at the meeting. 8-hour day, 2 shifts, and a 25% raise in pay.
Is that all?
That's all.
Don't you want my watch and chain, too?
We don't want nothing that ain't ours by rights.
Who framed that resolution? Griswold, I suppose.
I ain't saying. Well, what's it going to be?
You want my answer, eh?
Yeah, and if it ain't the kind we like, we'll soak you all the harder later on. Well, come on, Regan. What do you say?
I don't say nothing. My right hand does all my talking, and here's your answer now. Come on, get up, you sneaking tripe. And take my answer back to Griswold. Come on, get up, do you hear? What's the matter with you? Come on, do you hear me? Come. God.
Michael.
Shut that door. What do you do down here? I told you...
What happened? What did you do to him?
Oh, they sent him over here, and I hit him.
Get some water.
Yeah,
Quick.
Yeah.
Oh.
Did I finish him?
I don't know. Give me your handkerchief.
What's that mark on his head? I didn't hit him there.
He must have fallen against the desk. Oh, I hope you're proud of yourself, Michael.
Oh, lay off, will you? I didn't mean to hit him that hard. I lost my head.
Do you know this man?
No, just that he was one of the men in the...
Do you know anything about him?
No.
Well, I do. He was at the hospital last week when I went to see his wife.
His wife?
She's sick. She's dying.
Dying? I didn't know that. What did he come here for? Why didn't they send someone else?
Well, it's too late for that now.
Yeah. Where's my wallet?
What are you doing?
Oh, just a couple of bills, that's all. I'll slip them in his pocket. I guess he can use them.
I suppose you think that makes everything all right.
Well, whether it does or not, it'll help, won't it? I didn't mean to hit him that hard. I lost my head.
Oh, I knew this was going to happen.
Michael.
Listen.
Michael Regan.
Someone come up the steps. I gotta get this guy out of here.
Michael.
It's the Archbishop.
The Archbishop? If he sees this, stole him for a minute. I gotta get this guy in the other office.
Can you carry him alone?
Yeah, sure, stole him.
Michael.
Come in, Your Grace.
Well, Emily. I didn't expect to find you here. Where's Michael?
He'll be right in.
I tried to call him at home, but they said he was here. I've got to speak to him, Emily.
Why, yes, Your Grace.
Well. Good evening, Father.
I'm glad you're still here, Michael.
Now, sit down, Your Grace. Sit down.
I haven't time. I'm on my way to the strikers' meeting in St. Mary's Hall.
Strikers' meeting? Oh, now, you're not going to speak against me, Father.
That's just what I've got to do.
But why?
Young Griswold was talking to me this afternoon, and I see I've kept my mouth shut long enough. So I just stopped off on my way down for the sake of old times, Mickey, to ask you if you won't give in before it's all too late.
Give in and take a licking, huh?
Yeah, you were never much good at that, were you? You were always the fightingest kid in the whole 4th Ward.
I guess I was.
But remember, Mickey, whenever you'd go too far, I'd rise up in the name of righteousness and beat the very stuffing out of you.
Well, you was 2 years older than me. And the blame side bigger, too.
Oh, Mickey.
Yes, Father.
I'll give it up, my son. Tell the men you'll give them what they want. They deserve it, and... Oh, it's for your sake I'm asking, Mickey.
And if I don't?
I'll speak at this meeting tonight. I'll tell these strikers I'm behind them. I won't rest until I've struck you to the ground, my son, and I can do it. You know I can.
All right. You've got me, Father. I'll give in.
You mean it?
Sure. If you go straight home from here without showing yourself or speaking at the hall, I'll send them word tomorrow morning that I'm down. And by Sunday, we'll have the terms all settled.
You promise?
Well, sure, I promise.
I hope I can trust you, Michael.
You can trust me like you trust yourself.
All right. I won't go near that meeting tonight.
That's all I wanted to know, Father.
In a week, you'll have settled it for good?
Just 1 week, and I'll settle it for good and all.
Your Grace, do you hear that? Do you know what he means?
What are you talking about? Why did she...
I won't shut up. He's lied to you, Father.
What?
You're crazy.
He's lied to you. He hasn't the least intention of giving up 1 inch to those strikers.
Don't mind her, Father. She's off a nut.
He's just fighting for time. Time, that's all he wants. A week? Why, in a week, he's going to have 3,000 men here to take over the strikers' jobs.
Who told you that?
Regan, is this true?
Oh, she's crazy, I tell you. I've had a change of heart. I feel as if every one of them strikers was my brother.
Your brother? Open that door, Your Grace, and look into the next room.
Shut up!
The man you'll see there brought the strikers' ultimatum to this office tonight. He'll show you how my husband treats his brothers.
Father, wait a second. Listen.
Get out of my way. So you lied, Michael. You lied to me.
It was an accident, Father. I didn't mean to hurt him.
No? And you don't mean to keep your word about settling the strike? Well, we'll see about that.
Wait a minute, Father. Where are you going?
To St. Mary's Hall.
No, Father, you can't do that.
I can and I will. I'll talk to the citizens of this town as a priest has never talked to them before. Now get out of my way.
Father, wait.
You've heard these men speak to you. You've heard me. We've all told you that a strike is the only solution. To a man whose one thought in this world is the welfare of his people. His Grace, the Archbishop.
Hello, are you still there? Well, listen, Porky. Take down everything he says, everything. Then call me here at home. Yeah.
Michael?
Oh, come on in.
I've taken care of that man.
Oh, how is he?
He'll be all right.
Well, then that's okay.
Yes. You did a good job.
Yeah? You didn't do so bad yourself. The Archbishop is down there at that meeting speaking against me now. That's pretty good, too. Turning against your own husband. Trying to soak him every way you could.
Oh, that's not true. I did it for you.
Yeah, and I treated you well. And I done everything I thought you wanted, big and small. And I kept out of your way as much as I could, sneaking in at the back door night after night, taking off my shoes when I went upstairs, beating it from a room whenever I heard you coming. I've tried to make living here easy for you, and it's been no cinch for a man like me. No cinch, I'll tell you. And that's the truth. And now what do I get? You lie low, waiting for the chance when you see I'm breathing hard and scrapping with both hands. You up and stick a knife in my...
Stop it! Stop it!
Well, and it's so.
Wait. Listen, there's something I want to say. I've hung on to myself for 6 months now. I've done my duty by you the way we agreed and shut my eyes to everything else. But I've come to the end. I spoke out tonight because I couldn't help it. Do you hear? I couldn't help it. And I'll go on that way. Unless you give up this shameful fight.
Give up? I don't know how.
Then I'm through with you, do you hear? I'm through with you.
Hello.
Oh, I've been a fool. I've been a fool even to hope that it
shut
might...
up, I can't hear. Hello, Porky. Did he speak yet? What did he say? Yeah? Yeah? Oh. I suppose they're walking out on me, huh? Leave me flat, huh? What's all that noise? Cheering. Cheering, huh? Cheering.
Michael. Oh, Michael.
Oh, go away. Go on. Beat it and let me alone.
Come in.
Telegram for Mr. Regan.
Telegram. Give it to me. Give it to me.
What is it? Michael, what is it? What's the matter?
It's the Western. They've canceled my contracts. And they've gone back on me. Now I am finished. I'm smashed. Go on, tell me you're glad. Go on, get it off your chest. And laugh. Why don't you laugh? Go on. Don't be scared. I can't hurt you. I can't hurt nobody anymore. I'm done. I'm done.
We pause for station identification. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System. And so, ladies and gentlemen, the second act of our drama comes to its close. Our stars will be back in a moment, though, to continue this story of a mismated man and woman. Into the Lux Radio Theater now steps a lady internationally known for her advice on matters of marriage. Her name is Dorothy Dix. You've doubtless read her famous column that's syndicated in newspapers the world over. At the moment, she's sitting in the study of her home in New Orleans, behind a carved oak desk,
across which the troubles of millions of persons have come to her. Miss Dix has just recently celebrated her 41st anniversary of the Dorothy Dix column. And yet that study is just as full of life, of interest, and of compassion as ever before. Tonight, for the first time in her life, she speaks over the radio. We're honored to welcome her on the air, and it's my privilege to extend the stage of the Lux Radio Theater to her now. Miss Dorothy Dix speaks to you from New Orleans.
Thank you, Mr. DeMille. True, this is my first experience in speaking over the radio, and I feel that I'm a little advanced in life to undertake an active role in that very young field. Usually, I just listen, and as a listener, I've enjoyed many of your Lux plays. They're as fine in the field of entertainment as your Lux soap is in the field of beauty. Your play this evening interests me particularly. I have never heard the boss before, and I don't know how his problem is going to work out. However, I've known many Michaels and Emilys, though their problems have varied in 1,000 ways from the one we find in this particular drama. Although it is not possible to cover uncongenial marriage with one blanket of advice, I do want to say something about husbands and wives who find themselves at odds with each other. All their dreams of happiness shattered, and who are tempted to call marriage a failure and throw up their hands and quit cold. I contend that this is nearly always a mistake, and that there are very few marriages, even if they have gone on the rocks, that cannot be salvaged. How would you do this? Of course, there is no foolproof recipe for making a marriage a success, but there are a lot of things you can do that will help to keep one a going concern. And my first suggestion is not to be in too great a hurry to buy a ticket to Reno. Give your marriage a chance to gel. Don't call it off before you've made an honest try of it. It takes a lot of time for any business to get on its feet and for partners to learn to adjust themselves to each other. Many a business that tottered on the verge of bankruptcy has, in the end, made millions for those who had the grit to stick to it and see it through. And many a marriage that gets off to a bad start finishes in a glorious burst of happiness. My second suggestion is treat your husband or wife as you would like to be treated. If you crave affection, be a great lover yourself. If you hunger for appreciation, never forget to show it. My third suggestion is look for the virtues of the one to whom you are married and shut your eyes to his or her faults. There is a lot of self-hypnotism in love, and we can find in our mates what we want to find if we try hard enough. Don't forget that an ounce of tact will go farther than a ton of arguments and reproaches. And hold fast to the thought that husbands and wives do fall in love with each other, and many disgruntled ones find a happy solution to their difficulties. And if all of your efforts to make a happy marriage fail, still you profit, because you have enriched your soul and fortified your character. You have not cheated yourself out of all that is good and strong and rich in life by turning quitter. These thoughts I leave with you. I'm happy to have talked with you, and I will now join you as a listener. For I, too, want to know how the boss is going to solve his problem.
For your 3 suggestions, Miss Dix, accept our gratitude. We're back now in Hollywood, presenting Edward Arnold, Fay Wray, and H.B. Warner in The Boss. It's early the following morning, and Mike Regan has rallied himself for a last desperate effort. He and Porky McCoy are in a car, touring slowly through the town, on the lookout for fresh activities of the strikers.
You oughtn't to be here, boss. If we run into any of that mob, they'll
Shut up, Porky. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah? I wish I was sure of that. Hey, look. Stop the car. There they are, boss. The whole mob of them. They're heading for the plants.
That's Griswold with them, ain't it?
Looks like him. He's taking them there for a meeting.
You're trying to bust me on the home grounds, eh?
Let me out, boss. I'll round up a couple of the old gang and we'll...
No rough stuff.
Okay, boss. But we ought to know what they're going to do. They might start.
All right, take it easy. I'll be at the house if you want me.
Okay, boss. I'll call you up the first thing.
Right.
Michael?
Hello, Emily.
I've been waiting for you all morning.
What for? To tell me you're sorry?
Yes.
Well, you don't have to. I don't need your sympathy. Not until I'm licked.
You mean you're still going to fight?
Still? I'm just starting. And it's going to be a swell show. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn the grain traffic from this town to Montreal.
What?
Yeah. I sent a wire last night to the shoreline, offer them half-present rates if they'd unload at Montreal. I'm waiting for an answer now.
Half rate? But will it pay?
Hey, who wants to make it pay? All I want to do is get back at this town, and that's what I'm going to do. I'll show this town. I'll strip it clean.
What do you mean?
I got over $6 million invested in this place, and when I skip, my dough skips with me. You see?
No, I don't see. I don't see at all.
Well, then listen to this. A lot of that dough is in mortgages, overdue mortgages.
Michael.
Yeah. And before I leave here, I foreclose on every one of them.
You wouldn't.
Now watch me.
Whose mortgages are they?
Oh, just little ones down around Lake Street.
Lake Street? Why, that's Shantytown.
Sure, what about it?
Well, what's going to happen to those men? The men you've employed for years.
You mean the men that started the strike and beat me? They're going to lose their happy homes. That's what'll happen to them.
Michael, you can't. They're the people that made you. You can't ruin them just to satisfy your own miserable little idea of revenge.
Yeah, that's it, revenge. I'm going to squeeze them until I hear their bones cracking.
You won't. You won't, Michael. I married you only to help those people. And I'm not going to see my sacrifice go for nothing.
Now, how are you going to help it?
Well, I don't know. I don't know anything except that I'm your wife. And you can't do this. I'm your wife.
My wife? Yeah, that's a good one, that is. I guess if you was my wife, I might act different. You say you feel sorry for them strikers. Well, let me tell you right now, there's not one of them that ain't got more than I have. He's got someone to love him. What have I got? Nothing.
Michael, listen to me. I'm sorry for everything, really I am. I should never have married you with those conditions. But I'll change now. I'll be different.
Different?
Don't you want me to, Michael?
Emily, do you have to ask me that? Sure, I want
All right, then. I will.
Emily.
But you'll have to give up this idea of yours.
Oh, yeah?
You've got to leave those people alone.
Oh, so it's another bargain you're making. Is that it?
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is. You're driving another bargain just like you did the last time. Do you think I want you if that's how you come to me? Do you think I'll take my wife that way?
Michael.
I won't have you, see? If you don't come to me of your own free will, I don't want you at all.
No, you're wrong. It is of my own.
Who is it?
Mr. McCoy to see you, Mr. Regan.
I can't see him now.
He says it's important, sir. He seems rather upset.
Yeah? Well, what did he... All right, send him in the library.
Yes, sir.
I'll speak to you later, Emily.
Boss.
All right, Porky, what's on your mind?
Boss, it's about young Griswold.
Yeah, well, come on, spill it.
He got the crowd down at the plant, boss. He got up on a barrel and sailed into you. Said he was going to lick you. Call you all the dirty names you could think of. I guess I sort of went off my nut and
Well, go on.
I heaved something at him, a bottle. I heaved it and it caught him in the head.
What?
He went down.
What happened then? Tell me, is he all right?
I don't know. They took him into Dugan's Cafe. Then the ambulance came and got him.
You fool!
I didn't mean to do it. Honest, I didn't. But they're coming down here, boss. The whole crowd of them. They're heading this way, and I...
Shut up and listen to me. Did anyone see you throw that bottle?
No. It was all looking at him. I was on the outside of the crowd.
Then it's all right. Go home to your wife and kid and keep your mouth shut. Do you understand? If there's any trouble, I'll take care of you.
Gee, thanks, Mike. I knew you'd fix it up for me.
Go on, get out the back way. I'll take care of you. Oh, Emily, I want to talk to you.
Michael, what's the matter?
What do you mean?
Look out of the window. That crowd of strikers. What do they want?
Well, it's all right. Just take it easy.
They found out about the mortgage.
No, it's nothing like that. Sit down, and I'll tell you about it.
What is it? Tell me.
Well, it's about your brother.
What's happened to him?
Well, he went down to the plant to talk to the men.
Well?
And he was saying some rotten stuff about me, and they began firing things. Porky says it was a bottle that caught him in the head. They got him in the hospital as quick as they could.
Oh, you did it. You told them to do it.
Emily, you don't believe that? You don't believe I done a thing like that? No, you don't. You can't.
Don. Oh,
I never knew a thing about it till Porky told me. I wouldn't have had it happen for anything. Oh, Emily, listen to me. I got the whole town lined up against me. I'm all alone. But if you will believe me, Emily, I don't care. And I will be different, too, from now on. I'll be as different as I know how. I'll throw up the Montreal deal. I won't foreclose any mortgages. I'll do anything you want me to if you'll only believe me. Emily.
Don't touch me.
Emily.
Don't come near me.
Oh, you don't think I done it. You don't.
You did it. I know you did it.
Oh, but just a moment.
Get out of the way. Mr. Regan?
Yeah.
I'm Inspector Kennedy from Police Headquarters. I've got a warrant here for your arrest. You'll have to come along, Regan.
Well, can you wait a minute, please? Just a minute. Emily, listen to me. I didn't do it, so help me God, I didn't. Emily. All right, Inspector. I'm ready now.
Donald Griswold sinking. Paper, Donald Griswold. The body, Regan held for question. Never accused, held without bail. Regan held. Paper.
Michael, why didn't you tell them the truth? They'd let you out of here right now if...
If I turned around and blamed some poor sucker who don't know any better? No, Your Grace, I'm the guy that's responsible. I'm the guy that's taken the rap. That's the way it is, and that's the way it's going to stand.
And still I say you didn't do it.
Oh, what makes you so sure?
Because I know who did.
Oh, you do?
Yes, a priest comes to know these things, Michael, even though he can't speak of them.
Well, what of it?
It's a fine sacrifice you're making, my son, but it may turn out to be greater than you think.
You mean if Griswold dies, huh?
Yes, Michael.
Yeah, I know. They'll hang me high in the kite. So, what? Porky's got a wife, he's got a kid, he's got everything to lose.
And you?
Me? I never had anything to begin with.
Michael, if you won't help yourself, there's nothing I can do for you.
That's right. I don't want any help. I don't want anything, Father.
Very well, my son.
Oh, Father, wait. There is just one thing.
Yes?
I'd like to see Emily again. Would you ask her to come? I don't guess she'll do it, but I'd like to see her just once.
Very well.
Name, please.
I'm Mrs. Regan. There was supposed to be a pass for me here.
Yes, ma'am. Here you are. The guard will show you to his cell.
Thank you.
Any chance yet, officer?
You'll have to wait, McCoy.
McCoy.
Oh, hello, Mrs. Regan.
Are you waiting to see him too, Porky?
Well, no. No, ma'am, I ain't.
This way, Mrs. Regan.
Thank you.
Five minutes, Mrs. Regan.
Emily.
How are you, Michael?
Oh, I'm all right. I'm glad to see you, Emily. Did the Archbishop tell you...
I haven't seen the Archbishop.
Huh?
No, I've been at the hospital since yesterday.
Oh. Well, I wanted to see you, Emily. It's about those mortgages.
Yes?
I thought I'd deed them over to you if you didn't mind.
Deed them over to me? But I thought you were going to foreclose.
I changed my mind.
Why?
Oh, I don't know. When you're up against it the way I am now, you sort of feel like squaring everything up. And I thought seeing you was so interesting, those men down there, you'd like to keep an eye on them and see that they don't get into trouble. They're just like kids, you know. I guess they need someone to look after them.
Oh, Michael.
Will you do it then? Oh, that's fine. I'll fix the papers up tomorrow.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, that's all right. Well, you're the boss now, Emily. The boss of Shantytown, huh? I guess you'll be a better one than me.
Are you going to Montreal soon?
Montreal? No. Guess I ain't going any place for a long time yet.
You mean on account of Don?
Yeah.
Well, then you don't know.
No, what?
Well, it's all right. He's going to get well.
Is he?
Yes, that's what the doctor says. He operated at 2 o'clock. Don knew me before I left the hospital.
Oh, gee, I'm glad. I'm awful glad, Emily.
So you can probably go to Montreal after all.
Yeah, I suppose I can, but somehow I guess I won't.
You're giving that up, too?
Well, it looks that way.
But why? You don't have to.
Can't I do a decent thing sometimes just for the fun of it?
Just for the fun of it?
Well, I ain't doing it for any other reason.
You've changed.
Me? No. I'm just the same as I always was.
Well, then I've changed. Because everything looks different to me now, Michael. I'm sorry I didn't believe you about Don.
Oh, what's the difference?
You'd done so many things, and I knew how you felt about Don, and when you told me, it all seemed to go together. I couldn't think...
Don't begin that again, please.
But now it's all right. I'm sure now. I know you didn't do it.
You believe me?
Yes, I do. And you've got to forgive me for not believing you before.
Quit it, Dawn.
But I'll make up for it, you'll see. I'll make up for it, I promise.
You mean you... No, Emily. I know you're just saying it to make things easy for me, but...
Oh, no, I'm not.
Sure you are. We can't pick it up now. We've got to start all over, only this time we got to start alone.
Why?
We were all wrong, Emily, right from the beginning. I was wrong in thinking I could ever make you happy, and you was wrong in thinking you could ever let me try.
Oh, don't. Please
People
don't.
have to love each other awful hard before they can get married. If you and me had done that, well, I guess everything would have been all right. But as it is, all the bills paid, the accounts all closed. If there's any forgiving to be done, I guess I'll do my share. I hope God gives you all the things you never could get from me, Emily. I hope you'll live happy. Good luck to you, and goodbye.
Mr. Regan?
Yeah?
That man, McCoy.
What about him?
He just spilled the whole thing. He went in to see the inspector and made an affidavit, saying that he threw the bottle and you had nothing to do with it.
McCoy said that.
Yes, ma'am. So you're all right, Regan.
Officer,
Yes, ma'am.
would you call my chauffeur? I'm going to take my husband home.
Sure, Mrs. Regan.
Emily.
Michael, is that your overcoat?
Yeah, but...
Well, here, put it on. And be sure to button it up. It's chilly out. And your hat. Oh, wait. I'll show you how you'll have to wear it now. Not tilted over your eye like that, Michael. Straight, or almost straight anyway.
You mean like this?
Yes, like that. That's fine. Now take it off.
What? I just put it on.
Oh, Michael. Do you think I'm going to let you kiss me with it on?
Emily. Oh, gee.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, concludes our presentation of The Boss and paves the way for a personal meeting with Edward Arnold and Fay Ray.
Many thanks, Mr. DeMille. It's such a pleasure to be here, and it gives me another opportunity to thank the sponsors of this program for their wonderful product. Here in Hollywood, where a girl has to be most careful about her complexion, Lux Soap is indeed a friend. I know I wouldn't think of using anything else.
You know, that's very kind of you, Fay, and I thank you. I've heard you're something of a poet, and I believe our audience would like to hear one of your efforts.
Well, I'm not so sure you should be so sure. You know, my career as an amateur poet began and ended when I was 14. While other kids were playing cops and robbers, I was writing poems. But after I saw one published, well, let's talk about Eddie. You know, I'm worried about you, Eddie. Haven't you been well?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm marvelous. Why?
Well, you seem a little thinner than the last time you were here.
Yes.
Oh, that.
Are you reducing for a new picture?
No, it's not that.
Well, but you certainly are thinner.
Well, if you must know, it's because my wife is away. Yeah. She's in New York doing some concert singing, and until she returns, well, I'm doing the cooking.
I've always understood that you're an excellent cook. They tell me your sour braten and potato dumplings are a symphony in calories.
It's really nothing but a hobby to me, cooking. Just like Fay here writes poetry. Of course, anybody can write poetry. But sour braten and potato dumplings,
Well, now, if your old sour braten is so good, what's the recipe? I bet you don't even know how to cook it.
Oh, yeah? I'll not only tell you how, but what's more, just to prove how easy it is to write poetry, I'll do it in rhyme.
I dare you.
All right, here it goes. Now, the title of this poem is Sauerbraten. I tossed it off one day after eating some of my own sauerbraten, so blame it on the cooking if you want to. Of all the things that man has begotten, what is more grand than sauerbraten? Especially when you serve it in those dumplings made of potatoes. I'm sure my teeth have never sodden a tastier dish than sauerbraten. So it tastes like food and not like water. Soak the meat in a bucket of water, and just to be sure it's especially nice, add a cupful of vinegar and a thimbleful of spice. The reason why it is sometimes tough is because many people don't soak it enough. Let it soak for 3 days or 4 at the most. Then cook in the oven like you cook a pot roast. Now for the dumplings made of spuds, in order that you won't be duds. And for the best results from a boiled potato, boil them first and peel them later. After they've cooled, they'll look much nicer if you slice them through a potato slicer. Then drop them into a batter consisting of pepper and salt and flour and mixing. It's not essential, but if you like to putter, slip in some croutons fried in butter. Back to the pot, the whole thing goes. Batter, croutons, potatoes. There to boil, bubble, bubble, bubble. Potato dumplings are an awful lot of trouble. But what tastes better if you've cooked them right? There's nothing more tender and nothing more light. You can have your squab. You can have your mutton. Please pass those dumplings and sour braten. By Edward Arnold, the end.
Now you know why I don't write poetry.
Good night, C.B.
Good night.
Good night, poets. A very important announcement about next week's play in Stars comes from Mr. DeMille shortly. Heard in tonight's drama were Howard Phillips as Donald Griswold, Frank Shannon as Porky McCoy, Wright Kramer as Mr. Griswold, Eric Wilton as Mitchell, Earl Gunn as Scanlon, Lou Merrill as the inspector, Frank Nelson as Davis, David Kerman as Dave, Sidney Newman as Gates, Eddie Kane as an officer, and Ross Forrester as a newsboy. Mr. Arnold appeared through courtesy of B.P. Schulberg and Louis Silver's 20th Century Fox, where he directed music for the new film Sally, Irene, and Mary. Back now to our producer. Last January, the Lux Radio Theater was honored with the presence of one of the greatest actors of our generation, who chose our stage as the scene of his first dramatic performance on the air. We are proud to announce that he has acceded to your many requests for a return engagement. So next Monday night, we present Mr. George Arliss, accompanied by his lovely wife, Florence Arliss, and an all-star cast. Mr. Arliss will reenact his memorable screen portrayal, The Man Who Played God, an inspiring drama of a sensitive man fighting to overcome a physical handicap and find his rightful place in society. Our sponsors, the makers of Lux Toilet Soap, join me in inviting you to be with us again next Monday night when the Lux Radio Theater presents George Arliss in The Man Who Played God with Florence Arliss. This is Cecil B. DeMille saying good night to you from Hollywood. Has been Melville Ruick. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
You are Age Radio, rumble.com/C/GAR. Brought to you by G3PL.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, the secret word tonight is light. L-I-G-H-T.
Really?
You bet your life. The more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth Dealers of America present Groucho Marx in You Bet Your Life, the comedy quiz series produced and transcribed from Hollywood. Ladies and gentlemen, on Thursday, November 13th, your DeSoto Plymouth dealer will put on display for the first time what we honestly believe to be the most beautiful car ever built, the distinguished 1953 DeSoto. We'll have more to say about this exciting news in a few minutes. And here he is, the one, the only...
What a strange name for a human being. Oh, that's me, Groucho Marx. Well, here I am again with $2,500 for one of our couples.
We asked if there were any young single men present tonight.
You asked this?
Yes, before the show went on the air. Mr. Richard James. He was the one that was chosen. His partner is a student, Miss Catherine Gerber. And here they are. Folks, come in and meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome for the DeSoto Plymouth dealers. Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you find around the house. Okay, let's see. Miss Catherine Gerber, eh? You're not married?
No.
No. You're not engaged?
No.
Going steady?
No.
You say no too much. Has it ever occurred to you that perhaps that's your main trouble? How old are you, Katie?
22.
22, huh? Where are you from?
Oceano, California. It's near Pismo Beach.
Yes, you're not going to shut up like a clam now, are you? Richard James, how did you happen to get two front names and no rear name?
Well, my mother's first name, my mother's name was Richard, and my father's name was James. I better explain that. Her...
You ought to do something about it. Was your father's first name Jesse?
Not quite.
Henry?
No. My father's name, of course, was James, and my
Eddie
mother's...
Grable?
And my mother's name was Richard, which is a French name.
Was what?
Richard.
Richard, huh?
Yes.
I thought that was a vegetable. Let's find out something about you two. Do you have a job, Katie?
Yes, I go to school at Frank Wiggins Trade Tech Junior
Could you talk
College.
just a little bit louder?
Mm-hmm.
I can hardly hear you.
Yes, I go to school
Oh, you just said that.
at Frank Wiggins Technical Trade Junior College.
Oh, I see. Well, I wouldn't mind trading at that college myself. What kind of a college is that? A freshwater college?
It's a vocational college.
Vocational? Mm-hmm. You mean you're off all summer?
Vocational
I've been off all winter. There's no reason why you shouldn't be off all summer. So what are you majoring in?
Cosmetology.
Cosmetology?
Uh-huh.
Well, you're very smart going into that field, and I congratulate you. Now, what is it?
Well, it's the study of cosmetics,
Oh, I see. Well, that's pretty simple once you catch on to it, huh?
the art and study of it.
What sort of work do you do, Dick?
I'm a school teacher.
Oh, is that so? Well, it's a small world. Catherine here is a student. Could you teach her anything?
Well, I could try.
Well, what do you teach?
Well, I teach science and geography and history and just about everything that a sixth grade boy or girl would like to know.
I know we used to have a joke in a school like we did years ago where the teacher says to the boy, what's the shape of the earth? And the kid says, I don't know. And the teacher is impatient, says, well, what's the shape of my cuff buttons? And the kid looks at him and says, square. And the teacher says, no, I don't mean these. Not the ones I wear on weekdays, the cuff buttons I wear on Sunday. He says, oh, round. The teacher says, that's right. He says, now, what's the shape of the earth? He says, square on weekdays and round on Sunday. The old jokes never die. Well, you're a nice, attractive couple. And, Dick, since you're a teacher, I'd like to remind parents that they ought to go to school and meet the men and women who teach their children. They're fine people and they want to meet you. So go to those PTA meetings. They're very important and very valuable. All right, now it's time to play You Bet Your Life for a chance at the $2,500 question. But first, here's a beautiful gal I'd like to know better, with news about the beautiful new 1953 DeSoto.
Hi, this is Arlene Francis, and I want to make a date with you for Thursday, November 13th. That's the day the beautiful new 1953 DeSoto goes on display for the very first time. I know you'll want to be among the first to see this beautiful new 1953 DeSoto Thursday, November 13th at your DeSoto Plymouth dealers.
All right, now let's see how you work together as a team. Here we are. Let's see how high I can build you $20. Out of our list of 20 categories, you selected number 14, which is Gay Paris. Here's your first question. How much will you bet? Talk up, kids.
Let's bet $20.
$20? Is that what you're betting?
No.
No.
I said
Well, you
10.
have to decide now and do it fast.
Let's compromise.
Compromise if you want to.
All right,
$15. What is the name of the chief art gallery of Paris?
The Louvre.
The Louvre is right.
You're on your way. You have $35.
Remember, you're going for $2,500 tonight. How much of your $35 you're going to try now?
I think we know. Let's bet 35.
35. On the outskirts of Paris. Is that all right, Catherine? You don't have to Catherine, you don't have to
30?
submit to this, you know. You're an equal partner in this thing.
All right, 30 then.
$30.
30.
A famous river divides Paris. What is the name of it?
The Seine.
The Seine is right. I went crazy there a couple of years ago. I was insane for about 3 hours.
You've now climbed to $65.
Now, how much are you going to bet this time? $60. The French Stock Exchange is called what? One answer.
Exchequer of Paris?
No, it's the Bourse, B-O-U-R-S-E. Bourse. It's very well known, too. Should have known it.
I didn't know.
You
I didn't know
now
to
have
begin with.
$5.
How much will you bet?
Shoot the works.
We might as well bet it.
Might as well bet the other.
Okay. The most famous cathedral of Paris is one of the oldest and most interesting churches in the world. What is the name of it?
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame is right.
You wind up with $10. And Groucho?
Nobody leaves here with $10. I'll give you one more question for 15, which will make your sum total $25. Are you ready? And no coaching, please. Ready? Who is buried in Grant's tomb? General Grant is right. Thanks and good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth dealers.
We asked for men with interesting occupations to volunteer from our studio audience tonight, Groucho, and Mr. Hugh S. Arnold was chosen just before we went on the air, and his partner is a housewife, Mrs. Margaret Raby. Folks, come in and meet Groucho Marx, please.
Welcome to You Bet Your Life. Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you find around the house. Let's see, you, Arnold, and Margaret Raby. You're you, and you're Margaret, huh?
That's right.
Where are you from, you?
Walton, Kentucky.
Oh. May I ask how old you are, you?
52.
52. Well, you're a fine-looking boy. Are you married?
Yes.
Well, you're even finer-looking boy, huh?
Thank you.
Raby is your name, huh?
That's right.
Where are you from, Margaret?
I'm from Tarentum, Pennsylvania.
Tarentum, that's an Indian name, huh?
Well, that isn't the way I heard it. The way...
How did you hear it?
Well, Mr. Negley was the first settler, permanent settler in Tarentum.
Negley?
Negley, that's right. And he built 3 homes. And when the second settler came along, he said, Mr. Negley, if you have just your family here, why did you build 3 homes? And Mr. Negley says, to rent them. So, that's the name of the town, Tarentum, Pennsylvania. It's near Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
It seems like he went to an awful lot of trouble for one bum joke, didn't he? Imagine a man building 3 homes just to get one crack in about an Indian. Peggy, would you describe yourself just for fun? You know, I wonder how many of us could accurately describe the way we look to other people. Go ahead, and I'll correct you if you're wrong.
I'm 5'7". A little on the heavy side.
I don't think so. I think you're reasonably well stacked.
Thank you. Blonde hair, now. You know, to cover the gray up a little. Hazel eyes. And I think I have a sense of humor.
Nice teeth. You forgot that, huh?
Well, they're not all mine.
Doesn't make any difference. They're nice anyhow.
Thank you.
You're a fine-looking gal, Peggy. That was a very good description. I don't know who you were describing, but it was a very good description.
Myself.
What sort of work do you do, you?
I'm a tobacco auctioneer, Groucho.
What are you doing in California? Are you out here on your vacation?
No, I came out here, thought possibly I could get on radio and television.
Have you had any luck?
None whatever. I guess I'll have to go back to Kentucky and sell tobacco again.
Well, you should have studied medicine, you. Everybody knows in order to sell tobacco on television, you have to be a doctor. How can you tell good tobacco from bad tobacco, you?
Well, you tell it by the grades. There's many separate and distinct grades of tobacco.
Don't you have to rip them down the middle? You know, they make them king size now.
No.
King size. Isn't that ridiculous? King size. Have you seen the shape of King Farouk? Can you imagine a cigarette built like him? Could you give us a short sample of your chant, you?
Yes, we'll start one at 42, 2, 45, 45, 5, 6, 46, soul, Groucho.
That was very good, you. Sounded just like a recent campaign promise. Well, I'd like to keep on talking to you two all night, but now you're going to play You Bet Your Life. Well, half the night. Now, before we play You Bet Your Life, I want you to pay attention to a lovely lady who has some news about the distinguished DeSoto, the new DeSoto, the 1953 DeSoto.
Hello, this is Wendy Barry, and right now I want you to get a pencil and mark down this date, November the 13th. You got it? Thursday, November the 13th. That's a wonderful day. That's the day the stunning new 1953 DeSoto goes on display at your DeSoto Plymouth dealers. I've sneaked in and seen this new DeSoto, and really I think it's the most beautiful car ever built. No matter how you look at this new DeSoto, inside or out, it's perfectly beautiful. Outside, it's longer, lower, and lovelier than you ever thought a car could be. And inside, well, it's as lovely as my favorite living room. They won't let me tell you any more about this beautiful new car, but you can see it for yourself. Just be sure and be at your DeSoto Plymouth dealers on Thursday, November the 13th, the day the distinguished new 1953 DeSoto goes on display for the very first time. Oh, I'm going to be on You Bet Your Life television sometime soon, along with this beautiful 1953 DeSoto. So watch for us, won't you?
Now we're ready for the quiz. You beat our other couples, and you'll get a chance at the $2,500 question. I can't tell you how much you have to win, but George is going to remind our listeners.
The girl student and the teacher won $10, and the secret word is light.
Here we go. Let's see how high I can build you $20. You selected government sites. Now, you decide between you how much you want to bet.
97.
All right, how much?
1997.
1997. Here's your first question. You're going to bet 1997. What is the name of the New York island used as the chief United States immigration station?
Ellis Island.
Ellis Island is correct.
Well, you're off to a good start. You have $39.97.
Remember, you're going for $2,500 tonight. How much of this $39.97 are you going to try?
All of it.
$39.95. All right, you ready? $39.95 you're betting. Where is the United States Military Academy?
At Annapolis. Military Academy?
One answer between you now.
No, it's
You got 5 seconds.
West Point.
West Point is right.
You now have $79.92.
And how much of that are you going to bet on your third question?
$79.92.
No, $79.90.
You're betting how much?
$79.90.
All right. Is that all right with you, Margaret? Now,
Yes,
you
it is.
don't have to do this, you know. I mean, if you want to bet some other amount of money,
Oh, no.
you're equal
no.
partners.
That's,
all right?
That's all right.
What is the name of the big naval base in the Hawaiian Islands?
I'd say Pearl Harbor.
Pearl Harbor is right.
You now have $159.82.
All right. Now, how much are you going to bet this time?
Not at all.
You're going to bet it all? Where is the United States Naval Academy located?
At Annapolis.
Annapolis is right. Thank you.
And you wind up with a grand total of $319.64.
Thanks and good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth dealers.
We have a club woman for you now, Groucho.
Club woman?
Yes. Mrs. Maud Sheridan. And her partner is a man with an unusual background, Mr. James A. Murphy. And here they are. Folks, meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome, folks, for the DeSoto Plymouth dealers. Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you find around the house. You, Mrs. Maud Sheridan, you're a club woman?
That's
club
right.
woman, huh? Well, you may need a club before we're through here. What is your hometown, now that we've gotten that out of the way?
I was raised in Colorado Springs.
Colorado Springs, huh? Well, that's a lovely town. I used to go trout fishing there. I never caught any, but I went trout fishing there. How did you meet your husband? I presume you have one.
Yes, I do. I met him in Cheyenne, Wyoming. He was a traveling salesman, and I was going out to dinner one night with a...
Traveling salesman in Cheyenne?
Yes.
Well, how did you meet him?
Well, I had another traveling salesman friend, and he introduced us.
You did quite a business there in Cheyenne. Did you have some kind of a particular fondness for traveling salesmen?
Oh, yes. I had a tea room, and I entertained them, you see, in my tea room.
I see. Gave them tea in the afternoon?
Yes.
You know, it never occurred to me that people would sit in the afternoon in Cheyenne, Wyoming, drinking tea. Mr. James Murphy, that's you, huh? Well, it's always nice to meet a Czechoslovakian. James A. Murphy. What does the A stand for?
Aloysius.
Mr. Murphy, what shall I call you, Jim or Aloysius?
They call me Foghorn, Groucho.
Foghorn Murphy? Are you the Foghorn Murphy who goes to all the ball games?
Yes, I am.
Well, pleased to meet you, Foggy, old boy. I've heard of you. I've heard of you for the last 20 years, but I never had the pleasure of meeting you. You're quite a celebrity. Where did you get the name Foghorn?
When I was a young fella, I wanted to be a baseball player, but my feet wasn't big enough or my hands wasn't big enough for power. I got on a horse with a baseball uniform and announced off of it.
Mm-hmm.
The ball game.
You say you weren't big enough?
Wasn't big enough.
What about Bobby Shantz?
Well, I was big enough, but I didn't have... My bigness wasn't in the place where I should have it, in my feet and hands.
I'll get back to you in a moment, Foggy. Like a most unusual fellow. Well, let's find out something about you, Maud. You're a club woman. What club do you belong to?
I belong to one club, the Southern California branch of the Herb Society of America.
The herb, you say?
Herb.
Just what is an herb?
An herb is a plant. You can use the leaves or the roots or the stems for cooking purposes and for fragrance and for medicinal purposes.
Sounds fascinating. What are some of the medicinal herbs?
Oh, there's chamomile and rosemary and melissa.
Isn't that the Andrews sisters? What are some of the herbs you recommend for certain dishes? I don't mean the kind he was referring to either.
Well, every dish that contains tomatoes should have basil.
Basil, yeah.
And then for
I saw basil out with a tomato the other night.
Then with your meat dishes, you should have thyme.
Thyme? 9:30.
Marjoram. Sage.
Oh, sage.
And then when you make a beef stew, for instance, you put in some marjoram and a little thyme and a pinch of rosemary.
Say, this can be fun at that, you know.
Well, it can be fun, and everyone should raise in their backyard a little garden of herbs so that they could go out and get a pinch here and a pinch there.
This is the kind of a contestant I like. I don't have to say anything. She's hanging herself with each statement. Foghorn, let's talk to you some more. Foghorse it should be if you ride her on a horse, shouldn't it? Where are you from, Foggy?
San Francisco. Born in San Francisco 62 years ago. Proud. You can go any place in the world, and the only recommendation you need is say I was born in San Francisco. Everybody loves and likes him.
Could you sing us a few lines of that song, San Francisco?
San Francisco, here I come.
That is not right, Foggy. You're singing California, here I come. Now, San Francisco isn't all there is in California. San Francisco, open that golden gate. Don't you remember that song?
Yes, I do.
Well, that's... you want to try it again?
San Francisco, here I
come. Say, you must have been there during the fire. Do you remember the fire at all, Fog?
I remember the fire in Earthquake, Groucho, as if it was yesterday. They burned down all the schoolhouses and destroyed them. I only went to 2 grades and didn't go back.
What did you do after you quit school at the age of 8?
At the age of 11, I sold newspapers and Barbary coats in San Francisco. I sold potatoes and oranges, and I owned a drugstore in Pacific and Kearney.
At the age of 11, you owned a drugstore?
Later, I owned the drugstore.
Did you make any money at this work?
I've made $1 million twice in my life. I found out you don't have to go to school to make money. All you have to do is be nice and kind and sweet to people. The cheapest thing a person can sell in this world is a smile and a kind word about everybody, and it'll pay bigger dividends than anything else.
Let's hear it. Let's hear a few lines of the San Francisco song again, would you? I get lonesome for that every once in a while. Now, how'd you make your first $1 million, Foggy?
Well, 21 banks all over the United States.
Was this at night or during the day, huh?
Banks during the Depression, defunct banks.
Oh, you bought these banks, huh?
Bought them.
Well, that's logical. If you want $1 million, just buy a few dozen banks, that's all. You were sort of an Irish Giannini, in other words, huh?
Very proud to say he was a very dear friend of my, A.P. Giannini. Turned out to be the biggest banker in the world. Came from that great city of San Francisco.
San Francisco, open your golden gate. For California, here I come. Well, I'd like to continue talking and singing to you two, but the time has come to play You Bet Your Life. The time has come, the Walrus said, to play You Bet Your Life. You run your $20 into more than our other couples, and you get a chance at the $2,500 question. I can't tell you how much you have to win, but George is going to remind our listeners.
Mrs. Raby and the tobacco auctioneer lead with $319.64.
All right, here we go. Let's see how I can build you $20. You selected the animal kingdom. How much are you going to bet?
18.
Here's your first question, $18. What are Manx, Maltese, and Persians?
Cats.
Cats is right.
You have $38.
$38. Remember, you're going for $2,500 tonight. How much of your $38 will you bet on your second question?
35.
All right, what are tanagers, titmouses, and thrushes?
Mice.
One answer between you now. Tanagers, titmouses, and thrushes.
Birds.
Birds is right.
You now have $73.
Here's your third question. How much will you bet?
70.
I can't pronounce this myself. What are Samoyeds, Shipakes, and Sealinghams?
Dogs.
Dogs is right.
You've climbed to $143.
And is your last chance to be the other couples? How much of the 143?
All of it.
All of it? What are Kadiaks, grizzlies, and pandas?
Bears.
Bears is correct.
And you wind up with $286, and that means the tobacco auctioneer and the housewife with $319.64. In just 1 minute, get the chance at the DeSoto Plymouth $2,500 question. Thursday, November 13th. That's a day to remember.
Why? Is it my birthday?
No, Groucho. Thursday, November 13th is the day the distinguished 1953 DeSoto goes on display at your DeSoto Plymouth dealers.
Well, that's important, too.
You bet it is, Groucho. We think this distinguished 1953 DeSoto is the most beautiful car ever built. It's longer, lower, and wider, with superb lines and styling that are sure to make it the style leader of the year.
This 1953 DeSoto is so beautiful, it makes me wish I were a garage.
The distinguished 1953 DeSoto. It goes on display November 13th at your DeSoto Plymouth dealers. Don't miss it.
What was that date again, Fenneman?
November 13th.
Speak up, boy. Don't mumble.
November 13th.
November 13th, eh? What happens then?
That's the day the beautiful new 1953 DeSoto goes on display.
You're repeating yourself. Folks, go see this beautiful new DeSoto on November 13th at your DeSoto Plymouth dealers. And when you do, tell them Groucho sent you.
Now here's our winning couple, Groucho. The tobacco auctioneer and the housewife, all ready for the DeSoto Plymouth $2,500 question.
For $2,500, I'll give you 15 seconds to decide on a single answer between you. Think carefully, and please no help from the audience. Are you ready? The son of David and Bathsheba became a king when he was little more than 12 years old. He reigned for 40 years and became one of the truly great men of history. For $2,500, who was this king? Talk it over. All right, what's the answer you two have decided upon?
Your answer, dear.
Come on. Time's a-wasting.
King Solomon?
King Solomon is right. That's right. You win $2,500. Plus, how much in the quiz, George?
Let's see, $319.64.
That's $2,800 and...
It's a lot of money. I have no idea.
Well, at any rate, he went to Stanford, too.
$2,819.64.
All right, I'll cut your salary. Congratulations from the more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers from coast to coast. You bet your life.
Be sure to tune in again next Wednesday night at this same time for the Groucho Marx Show, when the big question will be worth $1,000. And don't miss Groucho's television show, also presented by the DeSoto Plymouth Dealers of America. And remember, all dealers who sell DeSoto also sell Plymouth. Two great cars, both products of the Chrysler Corporation.
Don't forget, folks, on Thursday, November 13th, the distinguished 1953 DeSoto will go on display for the very first time at your DeSoto Plymouth dealers. Make a date to see it, and when you drive in, tell them Groucho sent you.
Folks, here's a reminder from the National Safety Council. Drive slow in rain, sleet, or snow. You Bet Your Life, transcribed from Hollywood, is produced by John Goodell.
You are listening to Golden Age Radio, rumble.com/C/GAR. Brought to you by G3PL.com.
The Raleigh Cigarette Program from Hollywood, starring Red Skelton, with Ozzie Nelson and his orchestra, Harriet Hilliard, and yours truly, Truman Bradley. Smokers, into Raleigh cigarettes goes everything to make the finest cigarette you can buy. You can actually see the tobaccos in Raleighs are more golden in color. Conclusive proof of choicer, more expensive quality, as any expert will agree. And no less than 31 of these better tobaccos, each contributing its own distinctive seasoning touch, are blended into Raleigh cigarettes. And you get more out of Raleighs, more flavor, extra richness, smoothness, mildness. But Raleighs give you still more. Valuable golden coupons redeemable for dozens of handsome luxury premiums. Yes, more quality goes into Raleighs. You get more pleasure, greater satisfaction out of them. To sum it all up, it pays in many ways to get the pack with the coupon on the back, Raleigh cigarettes. And now we bring you Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer's popular comedian, the star of our show, Red Skelton.
Thank you very much, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are you, Truman?
Oh, fine, Red, fine.
No, ain't radio silly? No kidding. Here we've been rehearsing all day long. Twice we went over to the restaurant across the street to watch an armored truck unload a pound of butter. And we came back to the dressing room and we played a couple of games of tiddlywink. Then we come on the air. You introduced me, and I was so surprised. I said, "Hello, Truman." I treated him like I was saying hello to a T-bone steak. Well, what do you know?
Well, I'm fine anyway, Red.
Yeah?
Say, Red,
What?
wasn't it funny that the president took a trip instead of Mrs. Roosevelt?
Well, somebody's... Well, somebody's got to stay home and answer the phone.
Well, where do we go from here now?
Well, I don't know. Let's get to the script anyhow. What do you say? I read this letter from Corporal Wonderful Smith.
Oh,
huh?
fine,
It says, "Dear Mr. Skelton and friends, now that I've had my training, I have more time to do other things. Last week, some of the boys and myself crossed a skunk with a porcupine. There's an animal for you. He gets you coming and going." Say, and I'll ask me what's new, and we'll get on with the show now.
What's new, Red?
Well, I have something new myself. I'm an eavesdropping Tom.
An eavesdropping Tom? What's that?
Well, that's like a peeping Tom, only but with sound. I go around and listen to people talk.
Well, tell me, what outstanding conversation did you hear last week?
Well, last week down at the railroad station, there was a couple of fellows who just returned from Washington, D.C.
D.C.?
Yeah, D.C. That's dire confusion. And their conversations sound something like this.
Hey, come on, Denny. Your wife's really going to be mad when she sees you.
No, don't worry about her. She can handle me, all right. Boy, what a day to come home. It's so foggy I can't see.
Now, listen, it isn't foggy at all. It's a beautiful day. Blue skies and a hot sun.
Yep. The sun's so hot it's even perspiring a little.
Oh, hello. John, what's the matter with you?
Now, hold on. I got these jitters from running a rivet machine at Douglas.
You really got this way from lack of sleep on the train.
Oh? Where was your berth? Over a wheel?
No, there was a midget in the upper berth over me. Kept walking in his sleep all night. He was worried because his draft board put him in 1/2 A.
Well, at least you could kiss me.
You better not come too close to me with that Raleigh cigarette. I'll have to blow up. You know how that cheap gas is.
Gasoline?
I tried to stop him, but he said anything that hard to get ought to be good to drink.
Well, how much did you drink?
I don't know, but all my B coupons are gone.
quite a time.
What you mean?
How'd you get that black eye?
Well, it's a long story. I tried to avoid a catastrophe. I ran into a door.
Oh, come now. You can do better than that.
All right. I was standing there minding my own business, and the door came along and took a punch at me. Well, as the Democrat senator said, I'll never go back to Washington again.
Did you have a nice trip to Washington, Mr. Nelson? I hear the Capitol's very crowded.
Yes, it is. You should have seen the room we had. So small, we had to crawl into it on our hands and knees.
Yeah, and then after we got inside, one mouse said to the other, "See what happens when you don't plug up them holes?"
He was the sort of a person who had all the right answers down pat. The kind of a fellow who makes you say, "Why didn't I think of that?" I gave her my honest opinion when she said,
"Do you like my new hat?"
And he said, "So help me on you, it looks good. Now why didn't I think of that? If I had the chance, I'd keep our romance in tune. But what's the use? I cooked my goose, and he's with her on their honeymoon. I went and bought her a diamond, even furnished a 7-room flat. But he whispered, "Darling, I love you. Why didn't I think of that?"
She was the sort of a person who had all the right answers down pat. The kind of a gal who makes you say, "Why didn't I think of that?" I bought him a book for his birthday and a beautiful English cravat. She sent him pictures from Esquire. Why didn't I think of that? If love I'd regain, a different refrain I'd sing. But darn it all, I missed my call, and now he's bought her a wedding ring. He asked me first if I'd marry, and I said, well, I'll have to think about that. But she answered, "Solid, Jack, what are we waiting for?" Why didn't I think of that?
Harriet and Ozzie singing, "Why Didn't I Think of That?"
Dedicated to the City Firemen's Union, Local 125, Fort Wayne, Indiana, and the Sausage Makers Union, Local 203, San Francisco, California, for sending our products to the armed forces overseas.
Sausage makers. You know, I kind of feel sorry for those fellas nowadays. They just sit around with their hands full and they ain't got anything to stuff.
Say, Red, has there been any word about Junior?
No, he's still lost.
Well, you know, I bet his mother really feels bad, because some people, you know, really get upset when they lose things.
Yeah, I know a couple of guys. One's named Mac, the other's named Hamilton. They're sailors on the SS Military Secret. Mac was always losing things.
Hey, boy, it's good to be off the boat, huh?
Yeah.
No more washing dishes, no more swabbing the deck, no more baking bunks.
Yeah, no, good to be on the land again. No more butter, no more coffee, no more meat. No more washing dishes tonight, huh?
You said it, Mac. I ain't been on shore in a long time. Say, I didn't know you had a leave coming.
Oh, sure. Didn't you hear what I told the captain? Boy, I sure told him.
Yeah, what'd you say?
Same as always. Yes, sir.
Say, Mac, what about the girls, huh? Did you contact anybody?
Sure, I got a couple of just right for us. One's tall and the other's stupid.
Which one do I get?
Huh?
Which one do I get?
Stop standing on your tiptoes and I'll tell you.
Tell me, what's your girl's name, huh?
I keep forgetting it all the time. I got it tattooed on my back someplace. Yeah, I'll just take off my shirt and see what it is.
Okay.
I keep forgetting them things ain't got no buttons on them. Okay, what's it say?
Let me see now. It says, Alice, Mary, Rose, Francis, Myrtle, and Boo Boo.
No, that ain't them. Look over on my shoulder blade.
There's nothing over there except a picture of a Gladstone bag.
That's her. Gladstone. Boy, what a bundle. Well, here's the place we're supposed to meet the girls. Hey, now be careful what you say, because these girls are very shy.
Shy, huh?
Yeah, they're just like shrinking violets in a little dell.
Gee, look, Mabel, 2 pair of pants. Yeah, ain't they cute? Come on in, fellas.
Put me down.
Hey, Mac, I thought you said they were like shrinking violets in a little dell.
Yeah, somebody must have planted a stinkweed while I was gone. Well, we'll make the best of it, huh?
Yeah. Hey, you're a nice girl. What do you do for a living, huh?
I'm a stenographer.
Oh, then that explains your swivel chair hips.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Not only that, but that roll-top desk in the front, too.
Oh, thank you.
Say, don't you ever get insulted?
No, not until after I've had dinner.
Yeah.
Well, shall we go?
Yeah, let's go, huh? Wonderful thing, these rocket ships. Well, here's the nightclub.
Hey, Mac, I've been here before. They're very particular here. And the prices.
Oh, don't worry, Hamilton. I got money. But boy, oh boy, no washing dishes tonight. This is our night to howl. Ooh.
Are you a wolf?
Who, me? No, I'm a sailor. Don't look at me like that either. Well, let's go in.
Good evening. Your bill is $14.50.
We just came in.
We have a threshold charge. Would you like a table?
Yeah, we'd like a nice long banquet table.
But there are only 4 of you.
I know, but I like to lay down after a meal.
I think I ought to tell you that everything is a la carte here.
A la carte? Not me, brother. I got to eat off a table. Come on, I'll just sit down here, huh? Whoa!
Oh, hey, stupid. You sat down in a chair marked wet paint.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be another $5 for ruining the paint.
I'll get up. Look what happened.
Sorry, that's another $5 cover charge. Here are your menus.
Okay, what are you going to have, kids? Over here's the nickel stuff.
Oh, I'm not very hungry. I think I lost my appetite.
Good.
So I'll just have some roast duck, a slab of mutton, a plate of turkey hash, cream potatoes, pie, and coffee. That'll hold me for a while.
That ought to hold you a month.
I think I'll have the same.
Yeah, ain't there a law against hoarding food?
Now, this is a rather large order. Now, not that we don't trust you, mind you, but could you pay your check in advance?
Sure, give it to me. How much is it?
$44.
Okay, $44, huh? $44.
Well, are you going to pay or not?
Sure, I got the money right. Hey, my money. It's gone. I've lost my 6 months' pay. All that washing dishes for
I
nothing.
thought so. All right, then, just pay the cover charge. $5 per person.
How about it, folks?
I'm broke.
So am I. So am I.
Well, if you gentlemen can't pay the check, we have ways of taking care of you.
Here, now, wait a minute. You can't get away with this. Here.
All right, get going, boys.
Okay, Hamilton, you wash, I'll dry. Then we have Clem, the fellow from the country. He's always losing things. Well, here I am. Well, look what's in Daisy Jones' chicken yard, ducks. I think I'll sneak over and get a couple of them big eggs for breakfast. I'll just crawl under this barbed wire fence. Oh, I tore my pants. Clean through to my snuggies. Well, now for some of them eggs. There's nobody looking up. See, that sure is a funny-looking chicken up there on that roof.
Hello, Clem.
Well, Hey, what are you doing in here?
Well, Clem, I've been losing too many eggs lately. I think somebody's stealing them.
Yeah, over on my side of town, some of my neighbors lost a pig, 20 chickens, 2 cows, and they think some dirty crook stole them.
Oh, what a shame. You ought to do something about putting a stop to that.
Yeah, I think so, too. Besides, I'm getting a little too fat anyway. Say, how you doing with your eggs, Daisy June?
Well, my chickens ain't laying. I don't know what's wrong with them.
My chickens didn't lay either until I put a glass egg under them to give them the idea.
Did the glass egg make them lay?
Yep, got the finest Christmas bulbs you ever seen. I lost a couple of my good hens last week. I fed them steel wool for chicken feed. And they laid doorknobs.
Say, Clem, speaking of losing things, did you ever find that baby picture of you?
Yeah, I brought it over with me. Here it is, and me in my three-cornered zoot suit. Oh, Daisy June, I got it upside down. Here, I'll turn it around the other way. Well, it just ain't pleasing some women, is it? Well, I got another picture of me when I was a baby, too. My grandmother had me posed on a bearskin rug, but there was more skin than rug.
Let's see it.
Okay. Oh, I must have had it. Lost it here. Gee whiz. Well, I'll have a copy of it made, or I'll go down and pose again tomorrow.
Oh, Clem, you're a big grown man now. How could you pose on a bearskin rug?
Well, you could get a bigger rug, I guess.
You know, you're getting just a little jerky, just like Hitler.
Now, wait a minute. He's not one of us regular jerkies.
He's not?
No, he's just getting that way from banging his head against that wall he's got his back up to in Russia.
Here comes the car.
Yeah, stopping, too.
Is this the way to town? I've lost my bearings.
You've lost your bearings? Well, now, that's tough. Come on, Daisy June, let's help him look for him. What color were they?
No. I mean, I've been going around in circles.
Oh, well, no, don't let that bother you. That hadn't hurt some of them boys down in Washington any. All they do is just sit around and freeze jobs. You know, I suggested that to FDR myself.
You did?
Yep.
Well, then explain how you freeze jobs.
Oh, it's very simple.
Well, yes, but how?
Oh, everybody knows how you freeze a job. You just freeze them, that's all.
Well, tell me, Clem.
Well, you, just put a big job in an icebox till it gets hard. That's all. I feel sorry for a guy who wants to quit nowadays, though.
Why?
Well, he has to go up to the boss and say, I'm tired of working here. Could I get defrosted?
Hey, I hate to interrupt, but I'm still lost. Do you live around here?
Sure, everybody knows me. I'm Clem.
Why, sure. He got a very important job in an aircraft factory, too.
Oh, really?
Yep, I'm the last one out every night over at Lockheed.
Now, what do you do?
I lock up heat.
Listen, are you sure this is the way to town?
Sure, they take you right to the town to where you're going.
Yeah, well, how do you know what town I'm going to? I said, what town am I going to?
Nosy old bird, ain't he? Hey, what town you looking for?
Shenberg?
Well, you know, I'm going to Shenberg myself.
Well, hop in, Daisy June. I'll give you a lift into town.
Now, wait a minute. I ain't letting my girl ride with no strangers.
Oh, no? Well, I can take care of you in just about 2 seconds.
Now, keep away from me, mister. I'm pretty strong. You better not get me to swinging.
Well, who's scared of you? Go ahead. Start swinging.
Okay, Buck, mister. Bye.
Man, he means fight.
Yeah, like this.
Oh, now, just for that, you can take this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this.
Clem, stop that and get up. You're lying face down on the ground.
I thought he was kind of heavy for a fat man. J. Newton Numbskull, who's lost his sales slip and is trying to return a collar to a department store. I beg your pardon, but this is the information booth.
Yes, sir, it is, and the best information I can give you is see for yourself by comparing Raleigh's with any other brand that the tobaccos in Raleigh cigarettes are unmistakably more golden in color.
That's very interesting, but I want to return this collar, you see?
Is that so? Did you know that according to experts, these more golden tobaccos, the berry tobaccos you can see so distinctly in Raleigh's, are choicer, more expensive?
Yeah, I didn't know that. You see, just this one collar.
Oh, not just one, but 31 of these finer tobaccos are blended into Raleigh cigarettes for unsurpassed smoothness and mildness, unrivaled richness.
Yeah, that sounds like good. I'd like to return this pound of coffee.
Oh, what was that, sir?
Yeah, I knew that would get him.
Say, wouldn't you like to buy a present for your wife? Say something like this.
Oh, no, put him down. Oh, dear. Oh, I just want to return a collar.
But think of the additional return you get with Raleigh's.
Yeah.
Valuable golden coupons redeemable for cash. 3/4 of a cent each or war stamps. Yes, and redeemable for dozens and dozens of handsome luxury premiums, all pictured in the big new Raleigh premium catalog. For instance, look at this beautiful bridge table, available for Raleigh coupons. Or could I interest you in a baby's sleeping bag?
I don't know. I've never seen you in a baby sleeping bag. How about this collar?
Now, just think. This attractive, full-color Raleigh premium catalog can be yours absolutely free just for the asking. Simply send a postcard to Raleigh Cigarettes, care of the station to which you are now listening. And be sure to send tonight. And now, sir, you want to return a collar, don't you?
No.
Oh, no?
I want to get the pack with a coupon on the back for Raleigh cigarettes.
Say, Red, Junior's been lost for 3 weeks now.
Yeah?
Haven't the police found him yet?
No, but they're really looking for him. Let's follow this police car going by and see what happened. Boy, I hope that car's on the right road. Nobody knows where it's going but me. Right now, I is hiding in the back of a black and white Jeep with 2 soldiers in blue uniform driving.
Yeah, pretty dull today, eh, pal?
Yeah, no calls, no nothing. Pretty dull.
Calling all cars. Calling all cars.
What do you want?
Pick up a small boy answering to the name of Junior.
I wonder if that's all.
Ain't that enough?
Oh, boy, what a dope I am. Riding with a law and didn't know it. Wonder what I is sitting on here. Feel kind of hard and cold. And maybe it's a gun. Boy, I really hit the jackpot that time, boy. Boy, if I owned one of these things, I'd never have to eat me spinach.
Hey, sounds like the motor's backfiring.
No, it seems to me the tires blew out.
I said it's the motor.
And I said it was the tires.
I could settle this, folks, but it would only lead to 30 days.
Hey, what was that? There's somebody else in this car. Hey, there is somebody in here. Quick, I'll bring the Tommy gun.
Okay, I'll bring Tommy. Now, come out of there.
Meow, meow.
What is that?
Well, it's either a talking cat or a mowing boy. Ow!
Maybe I is a snapping turtle, too.
What do you know? It's just a little boy.
Yeah.
How did you get in this car?
Well, I got tired of walking, so I just got in.
When?
Well, when you was calling on that maid in the apartment house back there.
What's your name? What's your name?
Junior.
Well, I'm glad to know you, young man.
Junior!
I wonder what I got that makes everybody get. Well, boy, sure is nice out here in the country. Oh, look, there's a cow. I kind of thirsty. I wonder if I could fix myself a malted milk. I just crawl under this fence and get me little hat full. Oh, what? Hey, how come I overhear me pants is over there? Hello there, Mr. Cow. How's chances? I do hope that means yes. Now, you stand still while I put me little hat under you faucets. Now, don't kick me. Now, that's a nice cow. There. Now, don't set. Okay, cow, let her go. Come on. Come on, cow. Give. Make with the milk. No wonder there's a butter shortage. This thing won't cooperate. Hey, maybe that's what the tail is for. I'll pump it like a pump. Listen to that. I bet he ain't been milking years. Boy, oh, boy. Oh, look what's coming. Here comes another cow. Oh, he got a ring in his nose. That must be the bull. Howdy, Mr. Bull. I was just trying to talk your wife out of some vitamins here. Oh, boy, do you need a Kleenex. What you staring at me red hair for? Don't you like it? Did he say yes or no? Here, get away. Don't you butt me. Oh, here he comes. Get away. Look, if you don't like me red hair, why don't you aim for that, huh? Oh, here he comes again. I'll shinny up this apple tree. Boy, I hope he don't run into it. Now, you see, you got your horn stuck in the tree. Yeah, that's what you get for picking on little kids. Now, just for that, I ain't going to slide down and kick you, boy. 1, 2, 3. Boy, them cows are pretty fast when it comes to kicking, ain't they?
Well, my goodness, Daisy June, come look and see what just dropped in out of the sky.
Well, who are you, little boy?
Well, I ain't a parachute jumper.
But you fell from above. You must be a little angel.
She don't know me very well, does she, boy?
Say, where did you come from, little boy?
The stork brought me.
Why, you're not a baby anymore. How could the stork bring you?
Well, he got his claws stuck in my three-cornered pants, and he's been flying around for years.
What's your name, little fella?
Junior?
Are you hungry?
Yes, ma'am. I've been trying to milk your cow out there, but none of the forces said homogenize, so I didn't know what it was.
Well, just make yourself to home.
Now, she ought to know better than that. Yeah, I think I'm going to like it here.
But didn't you like it at home?
Yeah, but there's nothing left to break. This is all virgin territory.
You know, I bet your mummy misses you.
Yeah, but I on a mission. I can't go home.
Well, I'm going to have Clem take you home.
You, Clem? Who's him?
Well, here's his picture.
My goodness, if you hadn't told me, I'd have swore that's the way Tokyo's going to look when they get through with it.
Oh, you'll like Clem. He's a lot of fun.
Yes?
He'll show you how to make your Adam's apple go sideways.
Oh, that's nothing. I'll show him how to take it out and peel it.
Now, you just sit down here and don't touch anything Mama back is turned, will you?
She's a trusting old soul, ain't she? No, I got to go now because I'm sleepy.
You are?
Yeah.
Well, then come on in here and lie down till Clem gets here.
Oh, don't bother. I'm not going to sleep here.
Oh, yes, you are. I'll make up the bed after I call Clem.
No, I don't want to stay. Well, here I is, all alone. And me little brain just sent out a message, now's your chance. Boy, this is the first time I've ever been on tour. Oh, look, a goldfish bowl. Here I is in a new house, new surroundings, new people. With the same old Junior.
Junior, what did you break? Meow. That's funny. We ain't got no cat.
It almost worked. I better get out of here, because I ain't going to sleep here anyway, and there's no use messing up that bed. I just crawl out the window over here. Run away.
Here comes Dave, Junior. What for land's sakes, he's gone. Oh, dear me. I wonder where he's gone to.
Gee, it sure is dark. I can't see anything. Boy, it sure is dark in this woods. I'm going to sleep there, too. That was real, boy. That wasn't one of them Hollywood wolves. Oh, I ain't scared, no. I is brave. Only a coward would be afraid to sleep in the woods. I wonder what my mummy's doing. I wonder if there's any bears or lions in that wood. Oh, I'm not afraid. I wonder if there's any lions. Well, that answers me question. Oh, but I'm not afraid. What's that breathing down my neck? Oh! Well, you got that bed ready, Daisy June?
Pipe smokers, here's the way to relax these busy days. Pipe smokers, you'll hit a new high in smoking pleasure the first time you smoke Sir Walter Raleigh. It's smooth and mild, packed with a rich nut-like flavor. Satisfying and mellow, Sir Walter Raleigh never bites your tongue because it's made from a blend of extra choice selected burleys. And the aroma of Sir Walter Raleigh is pleasing to everyone. It's the quality pipe tobacco of America. Try Sir Walter Raleigh tonight.
This is Red Skelton saying, let's show our President and Mrs. Roosevelt that we'll stick by them and give them dimes to the Infantile Paralysis Fund.
Red Skelton is heard on this program through the courtesy of Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer Studio. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
Excited for Adventure on a Thrilling Trip Brazil brings you to captivating videos showcasing heart-pounding adventures, mouth-watering cuisine, and hidden gems of this incredible country. From bustling cities to tranquil beaches, our videos capture the essence of Brazil's beauty. Experience the warmth of its people, the rhythm of its music, and the thrill of exploration. Click on the link in the description to find out more.
I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to Old Time Radio Research Group for their remarkable efforts in preserving and archiving the captivating world of old-time radio programs. Their invaluable contribution allows us to step back in time and experience the magic of radio history firsthand. Their link is in the description below.